Hello and welcome to the One About Podcast, show where we talk about things we read, watch, and play each week. This week we're diving back into our free-form discussions. This is the One About Roundtable number 3. I'm your host, Dean. I also go by Endless Cole in places around the internet, and I am joined this week, as always, by Merry Christmas, Jordan, and Happy New Year, John. What's going on this week, guys?
Oh, that was precious. Merry
Dude, this is
Christmas.
our last episode of the year.
It is. What a year, dude.
Yeah.
What
Over
a.
6 months of One About Podcast.
I think it's important to be a little retrospective here and talk about the year, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
2020
we
sucked.
started. 2020 sucked. Definitely, for sure. But some good things happened this year.
Hot garbage.
I thought you were blowing your nose.
So yeah, I was like, why
that's-
did you unmute for
Yeah, I was like, Dave's getting into that.
Like, I want you all to hear me blow my nose.
Really
You
hear
need
it.
to hear how much I fucking hate the year 2020 is.
The best year of your life?
No.
Corn in the chat says every year since 2016 has blown.
Really? That's it. No.
Most years for me are pretty fine.
My 2018 was awesome. I had a good 2018. 2019 was pretty good too. 2018 was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I
was
agree
doing
with
a lot
that.
of baller shit.
2017
Oh,
was
yeah,
pretty good
baller
for me. I got
shit.
married that year. So
Yeah.
yeah, 2017 was a pretty good year for me.
Yeah.
2016 was pretty good. I bought my house in 2016.
Oh my God, you did? That was
Yeah.
already 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Man,
That's wild, isn't it?
it's crazy, man. Your kid's gonna be. He's like a year and a half right now.
Yeah. 20 months.
Hell, the time flies.
How the
It
fly
does, man.
times.
It does.
Well, how's this year been with the One About podcast, right? Like we started with a simple goal that led us through like 5 months of just like actually no, God, it's been so long that I've even forgot the first episode was I believe just you and I talking about Paper Mario, right?
That's right. Just you and me. When
Yep.
when was John's first episode? I'm trying to remember. Did he come on episode
I think
4?
I thought he came on right when we were talking about Star Wars, didn't you, John?
It was one before that.
Console versus PC, episode 3.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
we were
yep.
so
yep.
young.
Stu. Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, we watched all the Star Wars movies.
Ugh.
Did you guys watch
That was a
Mandalorian?
journey. Yes, sir.
I know you did, Dean.
Yes,
I'm not going
sir.
to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, but
Was
just
that
wanted
the
to make sure
season
everyone
finale?
watched it. It was.
Okay. They need to make the seasons longer. Anyway.
I completely agree. I guarantee Endless Tillamook already saw it too. Actually, I know he did because he talked about it in our spoilers chat in the Endless Guild Discord server. Yeah, I'm still not going to talk about it just to avoid spoilers. But it was a banger of an episode, banger of a season. Do you think that Mandalorian season 2 was better than season 1?
Yes. I haven't even finished it.
Um,
Yes, there is no question. Mandalorian season 2 is better than season 1.
I think there's questions, but I do believe that season 2 was better. But they're
Nah,
both...
Negro, there are no questions.
I think
There are no mysteries. Season 2 is
that's
better
the
than
first
season
time.
1.
I
That's
think
the
I
first
think
time
season
in
2 had
Jordan's
the
life
worst.
it's even been intimated that he's black man.
Usually it is obvious in every aspect of me, but I think that I think season 2 had the worst episode of either season though.
Which
one
was that?
That was the one where he had to randomly go back to where Cara Dune was and recruit that his first bounty that we saw in the first episode, and they went and blew up the base the Imperial base and stuff. It was like a total filler episode.
You think that was the
'Cause he had to
worst episode?
I think that was probably the worst episode of either season. Yes,
What?
I prefer the bounty hunter episode even, and even the jailbreak episode from the
But
first
that's
season.
the thing is like no, season 1 was mostly
Still a great episode,
world building,
but
like it was definitely a lot slower than season 2. Period.
I mean, they're still world building. They just finally this episode talked about why the Darksaber is important.
No.
I mean, you know about the Darksaber. You finished season 1.
I know the Darksaber exists. No spoilers. I'll kill you.
You know what the worst episode of this show was so far? Episode 4.
That
was episode 4?
The one is that when he met Cara Dune when he went to that planet to try and exile himself? Or was that 3?
Yes. No, yes. That's the one where they protect that farming village.
Okay. I actually really enjoyed that one. I actually really did.
Oh yeah, I know.
I loved it. I loved it because it was that AT-AT scene looked incredible. I loved how the AT-AT looked coming through the bushes to attack the village. It's a pretty campy storyline, you know?
Sure.
Mandalorian comes to small farming village being raided by enemies. He teaches them to fight back and take back what's theirs. Like it's a pretty cliche story, but it's still a lot of fun. Oh, Corn! I know it's an ATST. I'm just dyslexic, dude. God, you know I know it's ATST. Come on, I'm blast. This is the same guy that chewed my ass out for the freaking Corellian freighter because I forgot what I said. Oh, because I was talking about how the freighters, the center is always an escape pod, but that was an assumption I made because of a customization that Lando put on his. Normally, they're used to attach to large shipping like containers or such. Korn thankfully corrected me.
You should
in the comments of our YouTube video, so that was.
You
nice.
should know by now that Korn keeps all the receipts.
Oh,
he really. I think he's writing this down. He's like, hey, years from now, if we're still streaming, he's gonna be like, hey, Jordan, at the end of 2020, you actually mistakenly said AT-AT when it was an ATST. How long have you hated Star Wars?
Just come at you when you're going.
League, you would get it right
when you're going for office, Jordan, and then he totally ruins your campaign with that one banger of a question.
He's just in a black hooded cloak and like surrounded by press in front of me. I'm at a press release and I'm talking about my campaign launching for president. And I'm like, question, you, sir, in the black cloak there. Yes, 2020, you actually mistakenly identified Corellian freighters as having standard escape pods in the front of them when actually that was a customization that Lando put on his. What do you have to say about that? And then I just say, well, never mind. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before. I'm not going to run for president. I'm good here.
Just straight up, just see your campaign
it'll be the
for
biggest,
the presidency.
The biggest
Sorry about
scandal.
wasting everybody's time. I'm a scruffy nerf herder.
Sorry, guys. I suck. Not worthy of this position. I could never. Oh my god. Yeah, it's
Lord Jesus. Is that brisket mac and cheese? Good God.
At least Korn's not gatekeeping. Man. At least he's not gatekeeping, you know. Oh, you like Star Wars? Name every Imperial fighter type and model. Like, okay.
Hurry up. Time's wasting.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I came a little bit.
I kind of gatekeeped. I was joking around with my nephew who's 7. He was playing Pokemon for the first time, and he has like maybe 30 Pokemon cards, right? And he's like, Uncle Jordan, I have like all the Pokemon. I love Pokemon. And I'm like, you love Pokemon? Name every one of them. And I was just joking around with him. He started naming them off, and I'm like, all right, you pass. He was getting some good ones. He actually
he just goes through them numerically one by one. Like, when do you want me to stop, Uncle Jordan? 5 minutes
He's
ago.
in order, right? In numbered order.
Like, I'm
He's like, all
sorry.
right.
I thought that you were terrible and I was wrong.
Ooh, yikes. He's like, I can go in, I can do it by every prime number. All right, the first Pokemon's this one, 5, 11. Like, all right, dude, calm down. You
Do you
know
want the ones
Pokemon, all
that
right.
only have odd numbered names or even?
Just trying to
He
come up
actually
with
knew
some
ones.
arbitrary shit.
I knew all the ones that he had cards for, but he knew, and I already forgot the name of it. It's Gen 8. It's the legendary Shield one. Zena something, the Shield legendary. Dean?
Zamazenta?
Zamazenta, sorry, not Zen. Zamazenta. He knew that one, and he said Zamazenta. I'm like, Zamazenta. I'm like, I don't. And before I caught myself, I
Tried
said,
to
I don't
catch
know,
him. It's
because
like, gotcha, bitch. That's not a real Pokemon. Uncle
yeah, I was like
Jordan.
Zamazenta, and then I got a glimpse. I caught a glimpse of the card, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a legendary in Gen 8. He doesn't know what generations are yet. He just knows that these Pokemon cards are cool. But it was kind of
Sure.
cool playing Pokemon Sword with him and stuff. And honestly, playing Pokemon Shield with a 7-year-old opened my eyes as to why Pokemon makes some of the decisions that it makes. Right? We get so frustrated with the okay, I'm not going to say we. People get so
Okay.
frustrated with the Pokemon series sometimes, and they're just a bunch of sour ass 30-year-olds. It's like you forget who the franchise is really for, like in watching him play this, the simplicity of the dialogue, the simplicity of the characters, the consistency of the characters' motivations, and uh, and the consistency of the locations and the mechanics of it were critical, right? And it was just
Sure.
it really gave me a very different perspective as to why they develop the games in the way that they do. It was really cool to watch. It really was.
Yeah. You have a
He
whole
was
new
still
perspective now.
I mean, I'm still disappointed in Gen 8, but yes. I want like a I don't want a starter generation anymore. I'd like something a little bit cooler, right? A little bit like let's get a rated T for teen Pokemon game out there, Let's get
What?
something a little bit different.
Hold up. What is gonna be the rated T for teen Pokemon? Like we're actually gonna see Pokemon get mauled and murdered. It's like permadeath
No, just
Pokemon. Your
have
Pokemon faints, and it's like your Charizard has lost half its wing. Like what are we talking about here?
I really feel like Gen 5 is what you're looking for, man.
probably. I skipped Gen 5 and people not just you, but many people have told me to go back and say um many people have said to me to go back and play it because it's actually really good. But it was just an interesting perspective. And then during our quarantine, I had my Switch and I had Super Mario Galaxy, and my sister, who is 6 years older than me, used to play Super Mario 64 with me when I was younger, and I got her hooked on Super Mario Galaxy, and she made it past freaking New Donk City. Like she got really into the game and she got pretty damn far, and she loved that whole ending scene in New Donk City. Still to this day, one of the best things that Mario's done, like the franchise has done, and she loved it. So she's gonna definitely get a Switch and actually beat the game herself.
Noise.
Speaking of
Yeah,
Mario, did you see that video that Nintendo put out today, like showcasing Super Nintendo World at Universal?
I saw I saw like the tweet about it, and I saw notifications about it. I didn't actually turn it on.
So they did like a walkthrough of the park, and like it was guided and narrated by Miyamoto, and he is so wonderful to just watch him like lovingly tell you about all this Mario shit. At one point,
Really?
like the suit actors for Mario and Luigi come over and they like take a picture or whatever, and he does like this Mario fist thing in the air, and they all like do this thing. It's like, okay, thank you, Daddy's got to work now. Go away, guys. It's like,
Jesus.
Oh
okay.
God. He's the only one in the world that can say that to those characters without getting thrown out of the park.
I mean, with COVID going on, he's the only one in the park, so there's that. But it's charming. I recommend you check it out. Even though he makes a note that like here in America we were asked out for a while yet. He's like, but if you can come to Japan and check it out, we'd really appreciate it. I bet you would, man. My favorite part of the whole thing, though, is at one point he's like, I know it's rude to walk and eat popcorn at the same time. And I was like, it is? Oh, Japan. Got it. My bad.
Okay.
So Japan has this like really ingrained thing about littering and eating and whatever. So when you eat there, you sit down, you eat your food, you clean your area, you throw your shit away, and then you go wherever you're going. Nobody like eats in the car or eats a sandwich while walking or whatever. Like you sit and you eat, and then when you're done, you go wherever you're going. That's what I guess it's like considered rude to just walk around eating.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that I wish was like one of those just societal norms that's just good for everybody, right? Like it'd be good if the world just did that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
or had that perspective of nature and of their environment.
It's
I'm not
interesting
used
because
to seeing that.
there's a couple of YouTubers who like they're like Americans and Brits that like expats who live in Japan. And so like their whole YouTube channel is centered around like explaining to a Westerner what it's like for a Westerner to live in Japan.
Mhm.
And there was this one video I was watching where he was explaining what I was just explaining to you. And he was saying the most fascinating thing is that you don't really see litter anywhere, like nowhere. And it's fascinating because there's very few trash cans around the cities. Like they're almost nowhere. So people just fucking pocket their trash all day long so that they don't litter. And I'm like, man, that's a far cry from America. I'll tell you that right now. There's no
Wow,
trash
okay.
bin. Guess what the ground just became? Deuces.
Wow.
Jesus.
Japan's a wild place, man. Apparently, jaywalking is a serious offense over there. Even crossing the street when you got like the red hand instead of the green crossing guy is something that police will like definitively stop you for. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, I don't know if I can deal with that kind of
It's all about
pressure all the
public
time.
safety, man. Public safety.
They have some serious laws over there to protect you from yourself.
Yep. Mm, 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 mm-hmm, mm, mm, mm.
Guys,
Sup?
let's jump straight into this roundtable discussion, shall we?
Jump on these nuts.
Jesus Christ. I actually only brought one thing to the table this week, but I think it's going to be a nice meaty discussion, so I'm going to save it till last.
It's a pretty bare table.
John, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, okay. All right. So, kind of thought about this.
Thank God.
And I think it would probably be the most interesting insight on how you think of yourself as a person and what you would excel at.
Oh, so I gotta go. I got a meeting that just came up all of a sudden, and
Yeah, John,
Well,
I
then-
gotta go. I
Fuck
don't
you
wanna
both.
do this.
That's how I feel about you. You guys suck.
all
Hate you guys.
What do you got? What do you got? What kind of
Which
insight into my life do you want?
which JoJo would you be?
God damn it! I hate you so much. Please
Leave
tell
it
me
to
that's
John
not
to
your
bring up the best
actual-
topic of the year.
It
The best,
really
highest
is.
quality, the highest quality topic we've ever
Great
talked about.
content.
This is the
Thank you,
golden
Jordan.
moment of 2020.
This is what I mean
You're
about
welcome.
supporting your fellow man. You know what I'm saying? Unlike Dean just shooting everything down. Fucking asshole.
So Jordan, what did you bring to the table this week?
Oh, you're
man?
such a bitch. You're the biggest bitch.
Dude, that's so Dio of him, isn't it? Oh my god.
Really is.
That's so ridiculous.
Zaweldo.
What JoJo am I?
Why do you do
if I had to
things
pick a
just to hurt me?
JoJo,
Yes.
I don't think that I'm Jonathan. I'm not righteous enough.
Jonathan. Okay, all right. Let's like first on that first note. Jonathan, if we had to go to the D&D chart, is just straight up like lawful good, pure and simple,
yeah.
like morally
he's-
righteous in every way, shape, and form.
There is no more of a deity of good and lawful behavior than Jonathan Joestar. Absolutely.
Seriously. Like, oh, dude, when he was fighting Ario Speedwagon, and he was just taking punch shots on his body because why did he not like fight back? But it was like something crazy.
Bro, you straight up brought up this topic just so you could talk about JoJo. You don't want insight into shit.
No, because what JoJo character you pick is gonna be a mirror representation of how you think about yourself, because each JoJo is vastly different from the other in many ways, especially in like personality and motivations for why they're even like fighting or protecting in said chapter or arc. So you can go suck a dick.
So now I have not.
So I'm just going to interject right here. I'm going to flip the script on you right away. Instead of which JoJo we think we are, what about which JoJo we think that each other are?
All right. How about we do both? And I like that flip. See what I mean? Like, all you got to do is take it and play with it. Don't just take a shit on it, Dean. God damn. This is how you make conversation right now.
You know I don't like JoJo, man. Like, this is a fucking nightmare topic.
Okay, first of all, you didn't get swallowed up in the JoJo mania like you should have, and that's fine. I don't judge you for that. I don't shun you for that, because you're my friend and I still love you despite your faults. So it's okay. But I know there are some parts that you did like about JoJo.
I don't know how he got swallowed up in the One Piece world, but didn't get swallowed up in the more bizarre and wacky world of JoJo.
Okay, first of all, I don't know that you could say that JoJo's is more bizarre, dude. That's a stretch. But
no,
even
definitely Diamond and Unbreakable, I'll say that.
Sure. But the easiest answer to that question is simply that One Piece is better than JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in every way.
Oh, I mean, I'll say world building and
every way.
Like pivotal moments in One Piece. Yeah, I shed fucking tears rewatching every time.
There's some powerful moments, dude.
Choppers, the Choppers Island, that was one. When Nami finally asked Luffy for help while she's stabbing her arm trying to carve out her tattoo.
Yeah.
Man. I was balling.
But
I will
what
give
about
you that.
Caesar? Those moments.
God.
And JoJo. JoJo has some heavy moments too.
If I was in an apartment complex, I would have done the Caesar yell. Like if I wasn't surrounded by townhouses.
Avdol.
Yeah.
His passing.
And Iggy.
Oh, dude.
Avdol and
Iggy,
dude.
Oh god,
my
Iggy.
God.
Iggy.
Fuck.
Come on. There's some heavy moments.
Hit me right in the field.
I'm not here to compare them. I was just making a point.
Yes, I get it. Because like One Piece's setup.
All I'm saying
is better.
Is the moment when they leave Vivi behind is the most powerful fucking moment I've maybe ever experienced, dude. Like that's moving shit.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Oh man. Yeah.
Anyway. If we must talk about JoJo, let's get this shit over with.
Wow. I don't know if you see this right now, Jordan, but I'm telling you to stretch. I'm telling you to stretch.
All right.
Stretch that motherfucker out as much as you can. All right, so Jordan first. We'll start with
You want me to? Okay.
what
How about-
JoJo character you think you would be. Let's
No.
go with that.
Let's do what we think each other are first, because I don't want us to be influenced by what we think we are.
All right.
Okay. All right. And then that person can have a rebuttal with who they think that they are.
Sure.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
if we're gonna start with
then
Jordan,
an
though,
argument.
I think Jordan's super fucking obvious. But I'll let John go first.
Whoa. All right. Let me
Super
see.
obvious.
Super fucking obvious.
Super obvious.
To me, like, I'm interested to see what you guys think, but I think it's fucking obvious.
It's not. He's not Jonathan. Okay, straight up, nobody's.
No
Jonathan.
one's Jonathan. No one here.
No one is Jonathan.
No one's Jonathan. Let's get that.
No
maybe
one's
Corn.
Jonathan.
No,
Jonathan
Corn's
is probably
definitely
the definite, like, honestly, given he's the least favorite JoJo of them. Just because he's so Wonder Bread. Period. For me, it's between. Damn, this is kind of hard. I want to say between Giorno and Jusuke.
Josuke.
Josuke, yeah.
Unless there's another. I mean, I watched the dub of that one, so unless that's actually the pronunciation.
No. My pronunciations of everything is usually wrong.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
surprised you haven't picked up on
Josuke.
that yet. But you only get one, John. Pick. This is your topic.
Giorno
Don't
or
be a
Josuke?
fence sitter like Jordan. Make a choice.
This is the only thing I fence sit on because
I live on the fence.
It's your
dude.
topic, man.
I'll go with Josuke.
It's going with Josuke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dean.
So, so first of all, I just want to preface this by saying, like, JoJo is so fucking weird that none of us are any of these characters, right?
But we definitely
Like,
we're definitely influenced by their traits, personalities, and motivations.
Sure. So like you can see reflections of a person in the different JoJo. And like that's what we're looking for, right? So with that in mind, obviously Jonathan, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're the most fucking
What?
I love you to death. You're the most basic ass positive
That's
not that much
good
insult.
type of human being.
That's
And,
such
like,
a fucking insult.
I
don't take it as an insult, but I don't think I'm that much of like a paragon.
No, you're not. But you are like, if we get the whole group, everybody together, right? And we're talking about something, you're gonna be the one who comes to that thing's fucking defense, even if nobody else will. You're gonna find some positivity in there somewhere. You're gonna fight for somebody if they need it. Like, you're just that lawful good person. That's just who you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying like you're this one-dimensional boring piece of shit like Jonathan is, but like you don't have any of the edgier parts of the other JoJos to me. Like, you're just straight who you are. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's just how I see it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna go get a tattoo tomorrow, guys. I don't know if I told you.
Next time we see Jordan, he's just always got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Always. I'm always smoking menthols. Like, I got some few tattoos.
One teardrop tattoo on his face.
Yep.
Carrying a knife.
If I had to pick one, it would be Josuke as well, because I see that. I see that good. Like, I think Josuke has that good trait that Jonathan has as well. Like Josuke is the second purest JoJo outside of Jonathan, who is just pure
Yes.
lawful good, whereas Josuke is like lawful neutral or maybe like neutral good, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I would say Josuke, because Josuke is still kind of wacky, and although I'm not necessarily a complicated person, but I'm still like, I'm outgoing. I like to be, a little bit wackier, a little bit louder, especially if I'm
Yeah.
drunk. Oh my god, I'm super loud.
On top of the
But
fact that when you love something, you defend it to the death, even if like
uh,
you're fucking wrong. And
oh yeah,
like
I'm a
that's
lover,
like how
definitely, yeah.
Josuke, like, he does with his hair. Like,
His
someone could
hair,
say
yeah,
his
his
hair
hair.
is fucking, your hair is fucking garbage. What kind of fucking haircut is that? Do you talk about my hair? And you just beat the
What'd you
crap
say?
out of him. That's what I mean. Like, you
What'd you
will
say about my
defend
hair?
that shit to the death, and you will defend topics and or people, subjects, because you feel they need protection, just like he protected the turtle in his first introduction.
Oh,
Yeah, like when
Mhm.
the dudes
yep,
were like fucking cracked the turtle shell and killed it, it's like you would step in and was like, that's not nice, and then fuck
yeah.
them up for it.
I
That's
Mhm.
think
why
Josuke's also
that's
gotten
what
it.
yeah.
I think Josuke's also gotten another important trait that I try to be emblematic of, and I do try and come to people's defense and stand up for those. I'm not necessarily like a physically strong person, but like if I see a wrong, I try to say something to the
Yeah,
best of my abilities. I think Josuke
exactly.
does that through his weirdness and his wackiness.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that was me, Dean. You can go next. We'll let John sit on his a little bit longer since it was his topic.
Excellent. I like to
Well,
marinate on that shit.
Who do we know? So we say who we think Dean is, right?
right.
I think Dean. I think Dean is probably Giorno.
Really, I need an explanation on that because I find that choice very interesting.
Me too, because I didn't finish that season.
Totally fine.
So Giorno's Giorno's um whole purpose for no for playing double Giorno's whole fucking arc in the fifth part was not to help people. He wanted to be a gangstar. He wanted
Yeah.
to take over the 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 gangstar, as they called it, that was running that land in Italy, and he wanted its power, and he was going to use that power to do good, but he methodically created a group. He was underneath. I forgot the sect of it, like what they're actually called, but like the smaller gang run by Bucciardi, and eventually he got in with them. He gained their trust. He made all the right calls. He was very methodical. He was very intelligent with the way that he used and manipulated others, but also gained some surprising friendship and some surprising respect for others when originally he was just a loner. He had no one. He was the son of Dio. He was already doomed to have this paralleled and um uh conflicted inner
Turmoil.
life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, inner turmoil. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. He was already destined for that, and he uses that. He leverages that pain, that intelligence. He's extremely witty. He's a grifter too. He knows how to use people. All these sound like negative traits, but he just used them in his scenario, right? Dean, I think that
Mhm.
you're calculating, you're intelligent, you know how to do things to get where you need to go, but you also, like, if you respect somebody, you fight for them, you're on their side, like, because I think respect is a really big thing for you, and I think that's why I see more of you in Giorno than the others.
Okay. I can see
Very
why you say
long
that.
winded.
So,
Yeah,
no,
I think
no, that's why I
that's how
asked
I
it.
feel. Yeah.
It was very poignant points. Like, I get where you're coming from with that explanation.
My second was Joseph, but I think
Really?
Giorno. Yeah, my second was Joseph.
So for my pick for Dean, I'm sad to say this because he's my favorite, Jotaro. I feel like Dean is straight up Jotaro. through and through.
First of
Because-
all,
You're gonna have to make this argument
fuck
yourself.
do you mean you're sad to say that because he's your
because
favorite?
he's my favorite. I want to be Jotaro, but I can't.
Which part is that? Is that part 8? Is that part 8 or part?
No.
Sorry, is that part
Stardust
6
Crusaders.
or part 7?
That's Stardust Crusaders. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 4.
Stardust Crusaders. Who?
Jotaro.
Oh, Jotaro. Oh,
With the
sorry.
hat hair.
Yes.
Jotaro is who.
Jotaro.
Okay.
Yeah. Mainly because like his catchphrase "yada yada" is like Dean's mantra.
Yada yada.
It's like,
yeah, I mean,
it's like, fuck, dude. Like, do I have to do all this fucking shit?
It's
like, I guess like
it's Japanese for good grief, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh
and
god.
he's all like anytime like it's like, oh god, do I want to do that? No, I don't have fucking time for this. But then when his back's up against the wall and it's like, if I have to do this, I'm gonna fucking murder the shit out of him, and they're not even gonna know what's coming. I'm gonna make sure, like, they're gonna just go down tumbling and not even see what I'm packing before it's too late. And then when the best part is like when someone pisses him off, he just gathers that malice, lets it stew, and then he lets it go at the right moment. Like what was it? Steely Dan? Oh my god, that episode was Steely Dan. Where he was taunting him, he's like, oh yeah, let me walk on you to the bridge. And he's just got a notebook of all the shit that he's doing to him. And then when they finally free Joseph from his stand, he just unloads all the orders.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
So many orders.
Yeah. It's like,
Christ.
you would go to Dean and ask for help, but it's really, Dean will assess the situation as like, is this worth my fucking time? I guess I can help him. Fuck, this is gonna be a fucking shit show, but I got your back. You know, and I feel like that's Dean personified.
Good choice. Really good choice.
So,
Dean?
for me personally, I was initially stuck somewhere between Jotaro and Giorno. I didn't know anything about Giorno, but like when I was listening to you, Jordan, explain it, I was like, maybe. I was kind of considering that, but John's 100% correct. Cause like my attitude on most things, like how much fucking shit am I gonna have to go through for whatever it is? Like, I don't want to do any of this shit, but if I like you, I'm gonna deal with. I'm gonna swallow hard my fucking piece of shit putting me through, and I'm gonna do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. And you do it with finesse, my friend. With finesse.
It's really the part about it that seals it in for me is the way that he reacts to pressure. Because like most people, when they get into a high pressure situation, they crack. I go, okay, game on. Let's assess the situation, see what we can do, and put everything I got into it.
Yeah.
And I think that he's the quintessential character for that.
Yeah, he's the epitome of nonchalant. The personification. Like he has yet lost his shit. Like even going against Dio, like he has never lost his shit, lost his cool, and he's always calmly assessed the situation. Which is why he's my favorite JoJo. And that's why I was sad to have to pick him for you. But like there was no other one that I could see. There's no other one that I could see that was Dean. But that he just screams Dean.
But also he wears his emotions directly on his sleeve, and yeah, that's a problem I have to work on.
John?
Well, it's up to you guys.
I think for me, you're actually in between Joseph and Josuke. If I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Josuke.
Why is that?
because you do consistently have a great attitude about everything.
Mhm.
Like I've never like I feel like I've never caught you on a bad day, right? You're definitely like you seem to be a very ardent optimist. So I feel like Josuke was always like that too.
Yeah.
You bring a lot of energy, you know? I think you kind of expect the best out of people as Josuke did, and expect good out of people.
Yeah.
More times than not, not perfectly, more times than not. And I think that push come to shove, you know, you'll go aura aura toe to toe with someone, you know, like regardless of the situation, because Josuke had one definitely like one of the most bizarre adventures and crazy
Oh
arcs
yeah,
in
dude.
the series.
Dude.
Just wacky
Diamond
shit
is Unbreakable is what JoJo.
all the
That's the
fucking
reason it's
time.
called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Is Diamond is Unbreakable is the personification of that.
And
Like literally the most bizarre one.
honestly, thinking about it now, Jotaro was in that a lot. And
Yeah.
the interactions between Jotaro paralleled as Dean and you as paralleled as Josuke, and both of you working together, like the scene, like the bomber scene, the tank
Yeah.
in the shop, like crazy shit like that. Just how you guys work together and communicate, and the banter between you two. I think I'm
Mhm.
picking Josuke.
Okay. All right. I can respect that choice.
So I'm not gonna lie, like this one's hard for me because it's hard for me to see you in any of them in a lot of ways. Not the least of which is because all of them to some degree are extraordinarily confrontational, which you're not really.
Mhm.
Um like initially I was like, maybe Joseph, but
Mhm.
then I remembered back in Battle Tendency, he's like fucking massively violent for no fucking reason.
Yes. It's
And I
like,
was like,
here's a grenade. How about this Tommy gun?
yeah. And then I was like, wait. And then in Stardust Crusader, he's a fucking goofball, which is accurate, but he's a fucking lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
But he does fuck up being a father. I think there's a strong argument for Stardust Crusader Joseph. I think there's a
Ooh.
strong argument for that.
Jesus Christ.
Specifically, old man Joseph, though.
I mean, I
Young
like
Joseph, no fucking way. Old
no, not
man
even
Joseph.
close.
Wait. Oh, Stardust. You said
There's
Stardust Crusaders,
Stardust Old Man
Joseph,
Joseph,
right?
and then there's Diamond is Unbreakable Old Man Joseph.
Yeah. Okay.
True,
Stardust, Old
true.
Man Joseph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hermit Purple,
Fucking
old man.
useless ass goddamn
Holy
stand.
shit!
Holy shit. Like I would
Oh
be
my
animated as fuck.
god!
If we were dealing with that shit, like as a group, I'd be the one that'd be calling. I was like, "This is some fucking crazy shit. Like, what the fuck is going on?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even though like I was introduced to it before anybody, I'm still gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I think that's what I'm going with. Because some so like I'm gonna say Joseph, but post battle tendency Joseph.
That's totally fine. Cause like Battle Tendency Joseph is a fucking he is a wise ass, which I totally am, but a homicidal wise ass, which I'm
Yeah.
not.
and and like older middle-aged and old man Joseph keeps that part and loses the homicidal part.
Yeah, he's all like, I want to live, so I'm not gonna do stupid shit. When I
He's
totally get
also
that.
he's also not a lazy piece of shit anymore,
Yeah.
which you're also not that. I think that post age up Joseph is all you, man. Both, but like some combination of Stardust and Diamond is Unbreakable, some combination of those two.
Yeah. Cause like I would probably do some crazy shit. It's like, this plan will work. It will put me at risk, but that's fine if I put myself at risk and this solves this problem.
It's like, I mean, it's just like if we're playing Rocket League, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, listen, I'm going to go for a fucking wild aerial right now. And I'm probably going to fuck it up. But you're going to be right there. And you're going to be ready to save my fuck up and dunk it if I get the perfect pass at the same time. You're going to be sitting over there like, holy shit, and do it anyway.
Basically, yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that assumption because like that's one of the main reasons why I was like my wackiness and like animated anecdotes are all Joseph all day, but like when he was younger, he would literally throw caution to the wind at any moment in time to get his goal through, and like that's not me to a certain extent. Like when every other option is out, I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to do this then. But thinking about it, I actually decided that I was more closer to Giorno because like if you put Joseph's wacky fucking anecdotes and over animated reactions to situations with everything else that's core to Giorno, I believe that that's me 100%. And I think I'm more Giorno than Joseph, just for the fact that Giorno is nothing but a calculated move taker. And when I'm thinking about a situation, I look at all the ins and outs and everything. Like, Dean, you've been on me when I play games that I'm passionate about, like even Demon Souls. Like, you notice how like I don't move from a spot for like 10 to 15 minutes until I figure out how I'm going to handle what's coming up next. But when shit hits the fan, I'm like, oh God, what the fuck? Oh God, I can't do this. Like, yeah. But Giorno, like, all his moves are calculated. He surrounds himself with people that he feels are valuable to his plan. And it's like, okay, he's going to help by doing this. He's going to help doing this. So I have a plan for everything. And then even when shit hits the fan, he freaks out a bit, but he's like, okay, calm down. Got to plan it through. And I think I'm more, when it comes to like how I actually handle situations before I'm there, is Giorno. And when shit hits the fan after a situation doesn't go the way I planned, I'm Joseph. So that's why I think I would be more Giorno.
So since I don't know a whole lot about Giorno, I was reading his personality description on the JoJo fandom wiki to try and like learn about him while I was thinking about who to place you with.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with you up to a point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read you this excerpt and you tell me how accurate this is and how this fits in, because this is the part that spoiled it for me.
Okay.
It says, a defining characteristic of Giorno and shared among his peers through him is his resolve, something that can be described as his ability to make important decisions without hesitation and seeing them through to the very end, even in the face of pain, sorrow, and tragedy. Now, on the one hand, once you make a decision that you're going to go for something, seeing it through pain, sorrow, and tragedy, yeah, that part I can roll with. But your ability to make important decisions without hesitation, I don't know about that, man.
No,
you're a hard calculated individual.
Definitely hesitate. Like that's why one of our main problems in Rocket League right now and why we're not climbing is because I'll be sitting and watching the ball come down. It's like there's so many things I could do right now. I don't know. And then the ball will bounce and someone will hit it. It's like, ah, shit, missed my chance.
Right.
But once I get start learning how to calculate the variables, my decisions become quicker. But when it's something I have never dealt with before, you are 100% correct.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. Moving on. Jordan, what did you bring to the table this week?
Don't act like you didn't enjoy that.
I loved it.
It could have been better.
Wow. So my topic is actually a seasonal topic I wanted to talk about. Okay, so it's Christmas time, and I want to talk about something Christmassy. So,
how's it feel beating the fuck around this bush, man?
Well, okay, I'm getting to it now. Of all the seasons of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which one do you think you are, if you had to guess? So, part 5, part 4. Which season do you think really is you? We'll go ahead and start with you, Dean.
This becomes a JoJo podcast.
Jordan Joestar. Oh my god, dude, I wish I would be a real JoJo.
Oh shit.
All right. I think I've broken Dean.
He's obviously marinating on it. No, he's thinking real hard.
I think he just walked away.
He's just thinking real hard about kicking you both off the show.
Jesus.
All right, my actual topic. I went today and got a real Christmas tree. Lugged it up my stairs, put it in my house, vacuumed up all the damn freaking
needles,
little needles everywhere, right? Simple topic. I just wanted to say, do you prefer the artificial trees or the real trees, and why are they the real trees? And we can start with Dean.
Oh shit, this is gonna be real fun. Okay.
So, the only correct answer is the real tree.
And this is gonna be so much fun.
And the reason for that is two things.
Uh-huh.
One, it gets the fuck out of your house at the end of the month. Not one less thing to keep around.
Yeah.
And two, fake trees look like shit.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
That's really it. I don't even feel the need to expound on that.
That's it. That's all you got?
John, you sound like you're chomping at the bit if you want to go next.
Yeah, you're right. And then 3, they add a wonderful pine scent to your entire house.
Oh my god. Y'all are just hot fucking garbage. Jesus.
And 4, pine needles fall all over the ground, which gives the kids something to play with. It's just everybody wins.
Because that's what I want.
And the animals.
I want my toddler infant to eat. I want them to eat pine cones, and then they have, prickly
pine
shits.
Cones? What kind of Christmas trees are you buying?
You know what I meant, pine needles.
John bringing in pine cones to the house.
There's
pine cones and squirrels everywhere. Jesus.
This was such an awful idea.
I fucking hate you both. I hate you both so much.
Honey, I got a Christmas tree. That's a ficus.
So I'm just gonna blow this shit wide open. It's always the fake tree. Always.
I'm glad someone has a really hard opinion that opposes this. Okay, go ahead, go.
Yeah, I love it. I love discussing people who are wrong about why they're wrong. This is gonna be great.
All right. So the reason I pick the fake tree is, for one, the pine needles are not an issue anymore. That way I don't have to worry about cleaning that bullshit up. For two, it's always going to look good. You don't have to hunt for the perfect fucking tree. You don't have to go to different fucking tree farms or whatever to get a good tree. And you don't have to worry about the tree dying before, D-Day. Because that's always fun.
So, first of all, it sounds like
hold up.
Christmas wrong.
I'm still talking. I
mean, you might still be talking, but you're
still
already
talking.
Completely wrong.
Third point. You get a tree that already has the fucking lights in it. Boom. You got a third of the decorations already done, and all you had to do was plug that bitch. All you gotta do is put the tree up, let the branches fall down, fluff the shit out of that motherfucker, and you got a glorious ass tree ready to be decorated in less than 30 minutes. Not something you have to strap to your fucking car hood, drive, hope it doesn't fall off and kill someone on the highway.
What?
And your pine smell, totally copied and what's the word I'm looking for? Improved upon by going to the Dollar Tree store. They have pine scent sticks that have lasted me for over 5 years. Still smell strong as fuck like pine. Put it in the tree, good to go.
Wow. Dude, I don't know what kind of crazy Christmas shit goes on in California, bro, but these are like all non-Asian. Jordan, do you want to shut him down on this one?
You can try. It's not going to work.
Yeah, let me put my gloves on real quick. So I obviously don't live in SoCal. What's the real tree situation like in SoCal? Like, what's the experience of buying a real Christmas tree? Is there even one?
Yes,
Sounds like
there
he
is.
wouldn't even know.
No, I do know because there's Christmas tree farms like all throughout my neighborhood growing up. I had to help drag in the fucking Christmas tree to the office because yes, they did a real Christmas tree. And guess what? It died before D-Day, and we had to get another one. And you know how it is when your significant other is at one stance at one end of the fence and you're at the other. There's always going to be confrontation. So I was like, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get a fake tree this year. And if you don't like it, I'll throw that bitch away and we'll get a real tree from here on after.
She's a real tree
enthusiast. Yes.
enthusiast.
She
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Until she
Okay.
experienced the glory of the fake tree. Because again, I put up
Glory of the fake tree.
I put the fake tree up in less than 30 minutes, fluffed it, looked gorgeous. Oh, pressed one button, and you got different light configurations at your fingertips without have to worrying about, oh god, this bulb's out. Oh, I gotta string these lights just so perfectly around the tree. I mean, I get it. Some people don't see that as a problem or a hurdle or obstacle to get over. That's fine. But I'm saying, like, with this tree, because I'm the one who has to get it, set it up, and do all that stuff, it's the easiest. Because after I was done with it, broke it down into 3 pieces, had all the ornaments in one box, put the tree in another box. It's in the garage ready for next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. She straight up said she loved having a fake tree, especially since she like said, "Oh, I like the real tree because of the pine scent." She found them without even looking, the little sticks that give off the pine scent at the dollar store. We got them last year, and they still smell as strong as ever this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Like, everything about a real tree, you can do with a fake tree easier with less hassle, and then it'll be ready for next year, and you won't. That's something you literally don't have to worry about.
Except that fake trees just look like garbage all the time.
They don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
They don't if they're really expensive. Like the price tier of a
fair.
fake tree that I've seen, which I like, I think the trees that I've seen that are artificial, they don't start personally looking good until after like the 250 range. Then they start looking far better.
Yeah, I got mine on sale. That's 7.5 feet tall for $90, and it looks glorious. The only reason
I challenge that glorious assessment.
I'm going to use my coach's challenge on that one.
I will send you pictures.
Red flag.
The only reason that it's not as amazing as it was the first year we put it up is because we had to move all the ornaments up like 3 tiers because the baby was eating them.
I'll challenge another reason why it doesn't look as good as the first year, because every year they just get worse.
No, they don't.
They get more crimped. They lose more needles. Life is slowly sucked out of that plastic husk
That's
of a
the
tree.
worst part. It doesn't. I will admit, the cheaper ones, they definitely do. I will give you that. No fight whatsoever. But this one, nope, not losing the needles, nothing like that. Just had to fluff it up a little bit. You don't even see the middle like poles. It looks like an actual fucking tree with glorious lights at the end of it and delicious ornaments.
First
all
of
around.
all,
yes,
if you got lights at the end of the tree, it does not look like a real tree. There are no real trees with light. There's no bioluminescent Christmas trees out there. Although I'd buy one if there was.
DNA has been spliced with like jellyfish. It's bioluminescent. So
There's
okay,
just no fake tree. Even the really expensive ones, there's no fake tree that you look at and you'll ever be convinced that it's a real tree.
You don't
I
have
don't
to be.
think
You
that
just have to. It
I
has to look
yeah.
good. That's period. Like, there's no
I've
point in like
seen
fooling
some
yourself.
I've seen some baller trees at Costco that are around $400 that look absolutely immaculate. They look perfect, right? But they're not real trees. And here's why I prefer real trees. Number one reason, of course, actually, the number one and the number two reasons for me are both nostalgia and can be made null and void, but I still think my other reasons are still enough to hold its own against the argument of a fake tree. The first reason for me is nostalgia. Grew up with a real tree, grew up um with watering it, with dealing with it, with decorating it, with fluffing it out, with care and maintenance of it. Second reason is the tradition and the journey of finding a good tree, packaging it up, bringing it home, getting it set up. Like it's that journey itself and that tradition that is really valuable to me, right? That whole experience. And I can tell you that last year was the first year that I got a fake tree. And I got a fake tree because I couldn't afford a real tree last year. And when I handed that $50 over to that clerk at wherever the hell I was, I forgot what store it was, I felt like I was doing a drug deal. I've done
Fucking drug deal.
And I've done drug deals, so I know what that feels like.
Jesus
And
Christ, Jordan.
it just felt dirty. It felt
You
like I
felt
felt
dirty on the
bad.
inside. Oh, you
I
poor
felt
Jordan.
wrong. I went home, we stood it up in 5 minutes, we fluffed it in 10, and it was decorated in 20. And it just felt wrong. And then
It felt like a dirty boy.
you spamming son of a bitch. No, John, for context, John is spamming artificial trees in our chat right now, which the thumbnails look really good. But anyway, my cats are assholes. And they
Of
knock
course
that
they
tree
are.
down every other day. In the middle of the night, I'd be sleeping like an angel, and then I would hear and ornaments are scattered around my house. Unmitigated chaos every night. Because
Unmitigated. I like that. We need
it
that
wasn't
soundbite
heavy
on the board.
enough. It wasn't heavy enough to handle my fat cats. So they would knock it out, not knock it over, because my cats are arguably neutral evil, I think. I think all cats are at least neutral evil or chaotic evil. Maybe there's an argument for neutral, for chaotic neutral, maybe, but they are not good. All right, they're definitely on the badder end of that spectrum.
The way they
The
kill
smell.
random lizards and rodents and shit, I think they might be
Oh,
chaotic evil.
dude, my cats will look out the window and see something alive, and they'll just like their jaws will twitch and they'll start making those noises.
What the
They'll make these.
It's
They'll
true,
make these
they
weird
do.
noises, and they do it because the instinct to murder every living thing around them is so powerful that they can't control these reflexes
Oh
that they
my
have.
god.
It's
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
It's insane. These cats are a terrible animal to have in a home. They really are. But we deal with them for some reason.
They're better
Anyway,
than dogs.
Really?
I don't.
yeah,
So
I mean,
I say that
yeah.
because like dogs are a fucking handful. Cats, for the most part, just do whatever, do their own thing. They fuck off. You can cuddle with them every now and then. And it's just they're easy.
Yeah.
It's
They're
like
low
having a
maintenance.
roommate.
I
Big
get
fucking
it. I get it.
problem.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like having
exactly how I've compared it. Cats like
Now-
having a roommate, dog like having a child.
Now,
For sure.
cats do murder things just for the fun of it. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to deal with that, but
And sometimes they'll gift it to you because they want to make sure that you're eating and you're fed, and they're, they think about you sometimes.
Because they think you
But-
can't take care of yourself because they think they look
Yeah.
down on you.
but I will say this.
Exactly.
If my
Exactly. They
cats
look
were
down.
still downstairs because the dogs hadn't taken over, I wouldn't have these fucking lizards roaming through my house. I don't
Well,
know
you
where
just-
these geckos fucking come from, but he's on the wall next to my clock and I can't catch him.
Bet Gizmo saw that shit. He'd go for it.
No, he doesn't. He just kind of looks at it and then just lets it run away.
Lets it roam.
My cats
He's a useless
my cats
sack
would
crap.
make a life pact with themselves, and they would not leave that room until something died. They're so maliciously ferocious, because one of mine was a stray cat for many months before they found him. The other one just learned his bad fucking habits from the first one, because he was a kitten when when we got him. But and yes, Corn in the chat says random lizards in your house is a very Floridian problem. I've never even thought of that ever. It's extremely common. Extremely common.
That's gross.
Like, we don't even have lizards here in Canada. Yeah, I'm sure you don't, because they probably would die every winter.
You don't have
I'm sure
lizards
you don't have.
there in
I'm sure.
Canada at all? We have lizards fucking everywhere. I trip
I'm sure
over
you
those
don't
motherfuckers when I wake
Yeah.
up in the morning.
Yeah, Corn, when you go swim in a lake, do you ever think, something bigger than me might actually murder me in this lake? Because that's all that we think about here in Florida.
Yeah, we don't swim in lakes for that reason.
You don't swim in lakes unless they're like specially catered and there's a long history with human activity, so alligators just stay away or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah,
we
yeah.
also have snapping turtles here. Are there snapping turtles in Canada? I don't fucking think so. They're basically dinosaurs. No. All right.
Oh my god. So
They're too cold. All
They're
right,
too
yeah.
cold.
Corn,
But back to
Corn
the
did
tree.
bring up
When I
a
walk
good
outside,
question.
I accidentally breathe in lizards sometimes. Like, it's
What
fucking
was
wild down here.
what
The
was Corn's question, John?
The Corn's question was, how much do real trees typically cost? Because that's the question I was going to ask you. Like, how much do real trees typically cost?
I can tell you, because I bought one today.
Uh-huh.
So 2 points I will concede to you. 2 points, definitely. For sure,
Okay.
you absolutely win. Convenience?
Yes.
I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3. Convenience, consistency, and price. I paid today for a 7-foot tree $70.
And that's for
And
1 year use. Not even a
I mean,
year
that's
use.
for
Like
2
we'll
weeks.
get,
2
weeks.
3
Yeah,
weeks.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, even if I invested in that $400 tree, I'd make it back in 4 or 5 years. It's a larger investment, but I'm gonna have that $400 tree probably for 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
However, you buy, like, it's not just the tree, right? It's not just that the tree; it's the experience
the whole process.
of it.
I get it.
Yeah,
it's the whole process.
It's the whole thing that I've grown up with. It's this. And one of the other points, it's the smell. Yeah, dude, going to a freaking 7-Eleven and buying a pine scented, freshener, it doesn't compare to the actual tree itself.
Oh,
there is a big difference.
I know what that smell smells
disagree.
like, and it totally smells the same.
Totally,
All right.
totally disagree.
Let's just, it's completely fucking different. It's not even close to the same. But
I mean, your lies can compound your failures.
I
whatever.
Wouldn't say,
that's fine.
I wouldn't say it's that far off, but the pine scents are significantly more artificial. Like it's artificial the second you smell it.
Okay. It's
and also
too powerful, and it smells fake. It smells
so what you're saying is the pine scent is too powerful, but the real pine tree just gives a hint of pine. Is what you're trying to tell me?
I'm not saying subtle.
It's more than a hint of pine.
Okay,
but like it doesn't punch you in the dick with pine. Like,
but that's what you want for Christmas, right?
No.
You want the Grinch to come up and put his fist up your ass and say, "Merry Christmas, smell pine." That's what I heard.
I mean, maybe that's the crux of your problem if that's what you're after. But let me just lay this out for you here. Okay. The Christmas tree is the soul of Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you rip out that soul and replace it with this fake manufactured bullshit, you're ripping out the soul of the Christmas spirit.
Yep.
There's something about going with your family, picking out a real tree,
judging
hauling that motherfucker back to the house, setting it up, keeping it alive, watering it, loving it. You can have them saw off the end of the tree trunk and turn that into an ornament.
Beautiful.
See, Jordan knows what I'm talking about.
God,
What?
he's just.
Okay.
The
I'm just-
He's
hassle,
just singing Christmas carols to me right now.
Oh my god.
the
I'm just gonna.
hassle of it that you're complaining about, John, is kind of the point.
I get it, and I
It
understand
makes
that,
it worth it.
but I'm just gonna flat out say it's probably a white person thing, straight up. Because I ain't never dealt with that kind of shit in my family. My family's
I definitely had a
That's
few
the problem.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
definitely had a few black friends in
when
high
you-
school that had trees, and still to this day,
Yeah.
I know that one of my best friends, Danny, has his parents always buy a real tree.
No, that's when they move to a
Maybe
white
it's
suburb and they'll get judged
maybe-
for having a fake
All
tree in
right,
their
all right.
Christmas.
You can be a racist piece of shit all you want. The truth is,
I think it's ubiquitous,
if you
right?
just
Yeah.
grew up only knowing fake trees, you don't get it. It's
So I have one more point.
It's like
Dean,
kids who
continue.
grow up on television instead of going out and playing. You just don't fucking get it.
I mean, we're like in the very
Boomer.
peak age of like where we got a taste of both. So I understand both, but
We're a very
you're
unique
right.
generation.
I don't get it. I'm talking about your analogy. I do get, but I get it. You're right. I've never had a real tree other than in the office, and like I haven't had that experience of going out to get it. But like literally, like I don't like the cold. I wouldn't like the hassle of doing it. And like lo and behold, say like I am in charge of taking care of the tree dies, or like the tree dies. It's like, well, we have to fucking rush to get another tree and do the whole thing all over
it's not
again.
like it's hard to not make it die. You just gotta just water it every few days. It's not like difficult.
It's kind of hard to kill a Christmas tree. You have to actively ignore the motherfucker the whole time. Like, just don't buy a Christmas tree the day, like Black Friday, and not water it, and you'll be fine. It's really not that hard.
Oh, okay. If you say so.
There's also another. So 2 more points, and then we can move on. But like,
Yeah, John,
part of
you've had your last rebuttal. Go ahead, Jordan.
Part of that whole fanfare of it is like when I go pick out a tree and I find a good tree, like, oh, this is a great tree. I'm taking pictures of it. I'm telling my wife about it. I'm calling my family. Oh, I found this great 7-footer. Has a beautiful body. The backside's a little bit flat, but we're going to face it against the wall. It's like there's pride in that. Like I found a really good, companion for the holidays, right? I found a good companion. And there are studies, many studies, too many studies that show that real plants in a home promote better mental health than fake plants or no plants at all. That is a real thing that does happen, right? We are a little bit too disconnected. And I think there is a real intangible connection that happens. And even if it's only because I don't have any other fucking plants in my house, I don't go outside, I got blackout curtains, that's gross. But during this time of year, I get to experience that untangible connection, and just having that tree there, the subtle smell, the the feeling that you get from it, especially like late at night, you're drinking on some hot cocoa, the lights are dim, you have the lights coming out of the tree. It's a little messy. It's not perfect, right? The ornaments are kind of ugly. The lights are everywhere. Parts of it are a little bit dented in. It's not a perfect pyramid. It's organic, right? And your eyes, and I think that your mind is always going to yearn for a more organic and natural symmetry. And I think you can only have that represented accurately in these real trees. So that's something that I also believe in too. There's an intangible connection that happens when you buy a real tree. That's why I always try and promote it as much as possible.
I just want to add one more thing, and then we'll move on for real. All I'm hearing from you, John, is a lot of richer privilege. And there are some people out there like myself, as I was coming up, where I just straight up couldn't afford even a $250, much less a $400, $1,000 fake tree like they sell now. And coming from those shitty little fake trees, I may well have some bias because of that, but even still, it's worth noting that your way of doing it is just not an option for some.
That's totally
And
fine, and vice versa. And like, speaking of like richer privilege, like, no, I said I got my tree. First of all, my tree I got on sale, and that was $90, and I had to pay all of that because I wanted to let Kim see what it was like to have a fake tree and why I say this is like easier, better, less hassle. We don't have to deal with X, Y, and Z. And but straight up, my tree is nothing like the one that was at my mom's house growing up. My mom's fake tree, you could tell that bitch was fake. That was the one that had the, like, the rotating bars that they put the shelves, like they put the price tag shelves on the at Walmart and Target. That's how the tree dropped down the branches.
Oh, it just like
And
fell down and
yep,
clicked
yep,
down.
yep. And like it was not a very full tree either. You could see the bare bones of that tree very easily. So not say I know what you're talking about. Where like cheap fake trees look ugly as shit. But for my mom and my dad who worked night and day and then came home at 6 dealing with how many kids was in the fucking house? Me, Jerica, Daryl, 4 badass kids. Having a tree that you could just put up and then everybody can get together and decorate it really easily without having to go out of the house, try and find the perfect tree, lodge it back to the house, then put it up, hope it doesn't die, then have to deal with all the fucking needles on there with badass kids running around, probably knocking shit off of it. It just made it a lot easier. Like I do admit I was privileged growing up, and that's due to my parents working so hard for that. But that wasn't one of the reasons. I did not have a banging ass fucking fake tree. I had a shitty fucking fake tree growing up, but I understood the reason why.
So I just want to point out, I could see I kind of touched a nerve there, and I'm I was just playing, but I will say you're fake news. Jordan, what other topic did you bring to the table this week?
Dean, I mean, do you want to go just jump into your topic? I'm happy with just doing one each.
Let's do because my topic is going to be pretty meaty. Let's
That
do
was a
one
pretty
more
meaty
quick
topic too, I feel like.
Oh, it's going to be
About
meatier
the
than
fucking
that.
trees.
My topic's got girth.
Oh
Girth?
God! Please don't use
All
that
right.
word. That's just so
I'll
many
throw out
horrible images in my brain.
sure.
Throbbing girth.
Thanks, dude. Big
such a
old
veiny.
veiny, throbbing girth.
You're such a huge bitch.
God
damn it.
Okay, so another topic. This one probably be a little bit quicker. Once again, holiday themed, and this is going to be not Christmas themed. We just talked about trees and how plastic trees are the scourge of the environment. But New Year's. Let's talk about New Year's.
Yes, sir.
What's a New Year's? First of all, do you do New Year's resolutions? And we'll go round robin with this. And if you do, or if you have, what's one that actually has been successful or that worked for you? We can start with I don't know, John. Why don't you go ahead and start?
You can start with me. It's going to be very quick. I stopped doing New Year's resolutions because I just didn't want to lie to myself anymore. It was a very big problem with me growing up.
The hardest truth ever.
So I was just like, you know what, bro? You know you ain't gonna do this shit. Like, we're just gonna say, like, we're gonna try and have a better year, and whatever that entails, that's what's gonna be. I'm not gonna just be like, ugh, I'm gonna lose 70 pounds this year and get fucking ripped. Yeah, let me get that 24-hour fitness membership. Yeah, dude, the motivation for that is, it's daunting, to say the least. I remember when I actually did do that, but I stopped doing New Year's resolutions and more focused on retroactively looking at the past year and seeing what I did wrong and then basically like learn from it and move forward.
I can knock this question out even quicker than that. I never even started lying to myself. I've never made a New Year's resolution at all.
Ever? You've never done it.
Never.
Never.
I don't believe
I-
that. You've
I
never
know
done
myself-
it.
It's not
I-
that hard. It's not
I
that
know
hard.
myself well enough to know that if I tried some shit like that, I would break it immediately. So I just don't do it.
Like
Even when you were
November,
younger?
like it's gonna be done in a day. Jesus.
Especially when I was younger. When I was younger, I didn't give a fuck about myself, my health, or anything else. I was playing video games and getting myself fucked up in the yard, trying to get some broken bones before I got too old.
I just imagine an 8-year-old Dean getting fucked, like drinking beer with a NASCAR hat on in the yard, getting fucked up in the yard. I didn't give a shit.
Nah, dude. I was drinking from the hose and jumping on my bike and going off-roading in these fucking really unnecessarily dangerous back roads and shit.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It does. Actually.
I mean, it was when I was 8. Now I'm like,
So
I
I
don't know,
guess-
man. Like, just step on a rusty nail or something out there. and fucking
That's
tetanus.
dangerous. Don't want to do that. That's dangerous.
What about you, Jordan?
I guess I'm the only dumbass here
Yeah.
that tries
I mean,
to.
you said it. We didn't.
Jesus
Uh,
Christ. I try to pick a pretty ubiquitous topic, but all right. So anyway,
Jordan went from having somebody hardcore on his side to being all alone.
Dude, it's not very often. It's not very often that Dean and I get to team up against John, but now this feels right. This feels
rare.
right. Yeah, it's very rare.
We're back.
Very rare. Yeah.
Oh
now,
my God.
all right. The world has settled, right?
I fucking spit out my sweet tea. Oh,
Son of a
shit.
bitch. Okay, so I'm definitely one of those people that have conversations with themselves. So, I convince myself to do things. I have an inner monologue that I definitely leverage to work through things objectively, right? I absolutely do that. So, that also happens around the new year, right? Now, I am pretty consistent about failing every single one of my New Year's resolutions every year. I'm the classic example of, December 31st, I'm hammered at 10:30 at night, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, 20, God, dude, this next year, that's it. I'm doing it. Insert whatever the hell I was drunk and wanted to do then, right? So, like, that's definitely conversations that I have with myself. Going, what are the voices going to tell me? No, I'm not, definitely not schizophrenic.
Burn
Thank
down
God.
the school gym. That's weird, but all right, let's go.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said, I'm sorry. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go. You're gonna burn down the gym.
Do I have to eat all of my friend or just a part of him? No. Anyway, so the only New Year's resolution that I can think of that I set in the beginning of the year and completed was maybe 9 years ago, 10 years ago. I made a New Year's resolution to stop biting my nails. Because it was like this was during a very transformative time of my life. I had left my high school sweetheart, and I just turned 21. I was partying. I was changing everything about myself, and for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to be like, I'm going to highlight all of these little like these little habits that I have that are representative of stress or something habitual that I think is just like just holding me back for no real reason. So for some reason, I was like, I don't want to bite my nails anymore this year. And I thought about it all the time because, like, if my nails got long, if I felt my nail over my fingertip as like I'm brushing something, then I used to just be like, we're gnawing that shit right away. We're going in there. I'm a weed whacker. I'm taking off them nails. That's how I used to be. But for some reason, I was just aware of it for the first few months after the new year. I waited until they got longer. I cut them appropriately. I just focused on it more. And ever since then, I just don't bite my nails anymore. I have other nervous little tics, right? Like I shake my leg, I tap my hands, things like that. But like that specific nervous tick, I was able to stop, and it didn't change my life at all. So there you go. There's something completely useless to know about me, but hey, it's something that a New Year's resolution actually helped me with. Most
So
of them just fail miserably.
so let's do this. Let's set a New Year's resolution, all three of us,
Okay.
right now,
All right.
to keep running this show straight into the ground for another year.
Sure.
I'm not going to be satisfied until Korn disowns us. When Korn stops watching, that's the end of this podcast.
When Korn cusses me out and never comes back, then I know we've succeeded.
I think you've started that journey with Rocket League, though. I think eventually Korn is gonna be like, God, you know what? I'm tired of this. Stop ball chasing, you son of a bitch. Get your what a saves out of here, you toxic motherfucker. He's just gonna go off on you.
John,
we'll see where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we will. John, what else do you got for us this week?
That sounded foreboding. It meant to be optimistic. Like, we'll see where it goes is a better way to phrase that. Not we'll see where it goes. So yeah, that was meant to be an optimistic. We'll see where it goes, not a foreboding one. John, did you have another topic that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know. I just like topics about more of like self-reflection and like getting to know the person a little bit better. So if you could be a professional athlete, which one, not a specific professional athlete, let me rephrase. If you could be an all-star professional athlete, which sport would you play and why?
Ooh.
Who do you want to answer first?
I'll have Dean answer first. He usually likes taking the back burner on these kind of questions.
Ooh. You know, I was thinking about it, and like, I was like, well, what sport really can I identify with on a personal level that really gets to the meat of who I am as a fuck all that. My honest answer is basketball. I just love the sport. Like,
okay,
there's really nowhere else for me to go with that. If I was gonna do something, like, for some reason you were like,
basketball wasn't an option.
Well, you can't play basketball because you already like that sport. Fuck you. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck you too. But then I would go with swimming.
Why swimming? That's an interesting one. Why swimming?
Because I've always had this like attachment to the water and swimming specifically. Like, kind of like I was talking about last week, where I was saying how I had a ton of ear infections as a kid. That's why. It's because I would go out and go swimming every single day. I just love doing it.
Oh, really?
I wish I had a pool so that I could go swimming, because God knows I'm not going to a public pool anytime soon.
Yeah.
But but yeah, like, I think that would be cool. Like, be one of those guys who like swims from Catalina Island to the coast of San Francisco or something like that.
All right, I respect that. I didn't expect swimming to come out of nowhere. Like, did your and it was the expected salary in any of these sports, was that a factor in your choice whatsoever, or is just purely for the love of it?
I hadn't even considered that until you just said that right now, but I guess it's super fortuitous that basketball is like one of the best paying professional sports you can be into. But no, that had nothing to do with it. Those are just the two things that I love doing. I also love hockey and, to some extent, football, but like, I wouldn't want to play those sports. First of all, you're gonna get fucked up in those two sports.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to be disabled and have massive brain damage.
It's not even that. Like, even if you get out of football without any brain damage, the training alone ages your body by 10 years,
Right.
10 to 20 years. On your joints, it's murder.
Yeah,
It's the worst.
that's true. But I mean, even they're paid disproportionately even at that rate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I mean, I guess that's a nice benefit, but that had nothing to do with that. Like, wasn't even a partial consideration. I never even thought about it.
Okay. Jordan?
Hey, okay, sorry. I was to mute.
Welcome to the show, Jordan.
How you
Sorry
doing?
about that. I muted myself to talk with my wife real quick, and I forgot that I had to unmute myself to talk again. Right? That's how that works.
It happens to me all the time in
So
meetings when the baby's screaming.
so um, for me, definitely football, and definitely like a middle linebacker position.
Why?
Because he's fat. Honestly,
I've always middle linebackers are not fat. Those are actual linemen. Middle linebackers are
I'm just messing
aggressive.
with you, Jordan.
They're super athletic. They're fast. You know, especially nowadays, they're very
So
different.
everything that you're not.
Yeah, definitely. I played
That's
some
why he'd
football when I
become it.
was. I
I mean,
played
that's
some
fine.
football when I was younger. Definitely, there is a very serious path of my life where if I had just a little bit, because I've been a football fan my whole life, but I haven't been in a family or an environment that encouraged playing the sport as curriculum or as a hobby. It's just been enjoying it and just living vicariously through those players. So I do believe that if I had a different influence in my life, that I absolutely would have played Pop Warner, went into, high school, JV, and I really would have done it and dug into it because I have a really good physical work ethic when I'm invested or when I love something. I'm very good at throwing myself 100% into those things. I mean, now I'm just lazy, and my love is like video games and programming and stuff, which requires zero physical effort whatsoever. So I'm this Jabba the Hutt character that we see and bastardize every week. So now, of course, in hindsight, looking back, I definitely could have, like I mentioned, seen a path of me actually playing football versus the path that I did take, which was doing music. So, being in music, I actually I accredit high school music to keeping me from being like morbidly obese and dead by now.
Really?
Because I loved double cheeseburgers when I was younger.
Who
because
doesn't?
marching because marching band is 6-7 months out of the year where you are busting your ass weekly, like multiple times a week. You are sweating, busting your ass, especially in Florida. Oh my gosh, many people had heat exhaustion. I don't know how I didn't drop to the floor, every one of those practices. It is awesome. And Endless Tillamook was there with me too. He's definitely a band kid as well, but it'll put some work on you. You have to bust your ass. So I would have loved to play football. That's my like secret like life choice. Like if I could pivot and go back in time, I would have tried to see what my life would have been like if I really committed to playing football. And I think I would have wanted to be a middle linebacker. I love defense. I don't want to be cornerbacks or safeties. I would have never have been that fast, but I think I would have been powerful, and I think I would have been able to put the kibosh on some of those midfield plays and really
I
rush the
like that.
passer and get some
That's a
good
good.
hits in. So
That's definitely a good
definitely
term when you're
that's
talking
my
about football.
definitely that's my choice. Like be a kind of a Ray Lewis type character. I would want to corral and raise up the defense. I would have never have been Ray Lewis because Ray Lewis is incredible, but I would have aspired to be like that, right? To just be that leader, be that pillar in his defense, and just work my ass off through my career. That's definitely my choice. And and you can tell I've thought about this too. I was
Yeah,
ready for that
A little bit.
answer.
yeah, he was ready.
I was
What
ready
about
for
you,
that
Tom?
answer.
So it was for like a purely fiscal decision. It would be basketball. Was purely for enjoyment and love of the game. It'd definitely be basketball. But if I like had that choice and I would instantly become a professional athlete in said sport, it would I would choose volleyball actually.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like growing up I was a very athletic person. I played a lot of sports. Basketball was my love. It's always been my love. I love playing basketball till the day I die until my knees give out on me. But in that sense, I recently, like I'll probably say 3 or 4 years ago, when I lived with my roommate and high school friend Derek, he introduced me to playing beach volleyball because his company would get together every Thursday during the hot months, and they would go to the beach and play volleyball. And I was like, never really played volleyball. I was like, whatever. Like, you played it in PE, but dude, playing beach volleyball is like the funnest shit. And there's just so many different aspects of it where it's just so satisfying. Like, there is no position that you can be in to where there's nothing that's just going to be just incredibly satisfying. Like, there are certain positions in football, certain positions in basketball, if you even get to touch the ball, depending on who you're playing with, baseball, but in volleyball, everything has to work as a fucking cohesive unit. And like playing that, not even at a high level, like just at like a rudimentary level with people who are like okay, is just a different experience. And like I'm naturally athletic, but even though I'm naturally athletic, there's a lot of aspects that I couldn't grasp because I never really thought about playing volleyball and I had to think differently. It's like, yeah, I jump high, but can you jump high and time your swing at the peak of the ball to where it actually spikes where you want it to go? Yeah, I can block shots in basketball till the cows come home, but can you time your jump to where you're going to be at the highest point to block this guy's shot knowing where he's going to hit it? Okay, you're in the back row. Someone spikes a ball. Are you going to be quick enough? Do you know where the ball is going to land? Dude, receiving a spike and perfectly bumping it up and crushing that guy's hopes and dreams and seeing the look in his eyes is immaculate. And I've only done that probably 3 times total ever. But I've played beach volleyball against one of my friend's girlfriends who's a trainer, but she's like almost professional level volleyball player. She's like 5'2", probably like a 75 pounds soaking wet. And I spike that shit as hard as I fucking can, and she will bump receive that with ease. And it was the most frustrating and funnest thing I've ever experienced.
Hmm.
It's just so much fun because like every position there's something immaculate that you can experience. But yeah, that would be the sport that I would choose.
Very interesting. All right, so let's move on to our final topic, my only topic for this, our final show of the year. You may have been wondering why the thumbnail for this particular episode is a bunch of trophies, and the reason for that is, as trite as it can be, I want to do some end of the year awards. But I want to do end of the year awards that are relevant to us. So not I'm going to list out some categories, and you guys, if you got something that you want to shout out, we can do those too, but these are the 6 categories that I chose for this topic. And I don't want to necessarily do them for things that came out that happened this year, but things that we experienced this year. So, those topics are books or comics, if you prefer, film, games, TV, disappointment, and episode of the show. And I think that we can take the first one. I'll lead it off, then you guys can tell me how you feel on the subject, and we'll just kind of go around like that. Just, what do you think was the best thing in each category that you experienced this year and why?
No, I like it. Reflection. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
So, in terms of books, I think that the best thing that I read this year was Artemis, by Andy Weir. It was his follow-up novel after The Martian, and The Martian was a book that I read when I was still working at Barnes and Noble when I moved up from Miami to Central Florida, and it really caught me off guard. Like, it's a very deep scientific book, and it's really funny, and it makes you think. And Artemis is much the same thing. It takes place on the moon instead of on Mars, and it explores the idea of what happens when humanity creates a civilization on the moon and the problems that come along with it. It's funny. It's got real science in there, and it's really well thought out. I think that Andy Weir just has a really genuine way of writing characters that make sense and puts a lot of thought behind it, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
Okay. So, when we're talking about books, are we talking about like just straight up paperback books?
It's whatever you feel, man.
All
If
right.
you wanna choose like a random chapter out of One Piece, knock yourself out.
No.
What was the
Actually,
best thing that you read?
no. So the best thing, that's just to give you like a taste. Like I read this year the book. Like I have to write these down just to make sure I'm getting everything. I read The Walking Dead, The
Mhm.
Boys, Lock and Key, Invincible. I finished the Promised Land manga. There's a lot of good stuff that I read. Um, but to nail down like my favorite or the best one that I read, one that I couldn't put down or like I literally had to drive through to the end because I had to know how it ended. Mm, I'm gonna have to say Invincible. The Walking Dead
Mm,
is close, uh, but Invincible was one of those stories that, again, like I know you probably noticed this, Dean. This most of these are the ones that you suggested I read.
yeah.
Um, but Invincible really surprised me because I thought it was going to be like a normal average like boy has superpowers becomes a superhero. It's like no, there was so much dichotomy with every character's choices from beginning to end, so much different character development and arcs in their development to get to the end, and it was a masterpiece. Like I could never have guessed how any of the story would turn or change or what was going on, and I usually am pretty right when I get into a story and I can guess like, oh, this is gonna happen, oh, he's gonna end up here, oh my god, I already know who's good, who's the bad guy. It's like no, in Invincible, I was guessing the whole way, and it was just amazing. It was an amazing ride, and I couldn't stop reading it. I literally was like coding on one screen, reading Invincible on the other at work, reading Invincible while I was driving home on the freeway in stop and go traffic. Got home, sat down, chilling before the kids got home, reading Invincible whenever I could. Wife's asleep, family's asleep, on the computer, dim lights, got Invincible on the computer. Like I was inhaling that book, and it was just an amazing ride. It's really good writing, really good storytelling, and it shows that even if you're all powerful, your decisions are going to have weight to the world around you, but more importantly, to how you view yourself as a person. It's going to shape who you are with those decisions, especially the trying ones, the ones where your back is against the wall and you have to make a decision. You can't just sit on the fence. You have to do something.
I like that. It's a great choice. What about you, Jordan?
I think the best thing I've read this year is actually the Gundam manga. So that's not the best response, but that's pretty much all I have. I don't really necessarily read a lot. So I read through chapters 6 through 9 this year. I have to say that's pretty much the top of my list, if probably not the only thing on my list.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah, there isn't.
that was
Yeah.
the whole point. It's like this isn't about like what's
This isn't judging you for
literally
your
the
choices.
best thing.
I feel judged.
It's just like what's. I just want to know what you guys were into this year. That's really it. It's just
Oh yeah.
a topic of reflection on the year and like what were you guys into. So if you were really into the Gundam manga, cool.
Oh
Like
yeah, it definitely was.
I read part of the first volume of that and I was into it. I just never got back to it. So so film. I think and I thought about this one for a long time. It's hard for me because I watched fewer films this year than any year that I can remember, partly because I couldn't get out to the theater. A ton of movies got delayed and didn't come out at all.
Yeah.
And all kinds of shit. Also, I've just been generally busier doing this, that, and the other. So watching movies has been harder. But I think the best movie that I saw this year was Parasite, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, won best picture last year when it came out. I'm pretty sure it did.
I still have yet to see that movie.
So it's really impactful. I guess it's the best word I can come up with to describe it. It's like a black comedy, I guess, is really what it is, but the way it pulls you into these characters and you understand them and can sympathize with them even when it makes hard turns and they start doing really awful things. It's unlike anything that I've seen, at least in recent memory, and it really blew the doors down. Like, I'm typically the guy who's like, okay, let's watch whatever won best picture. I'm sure this will be great and totally not a circle jerk like it is every other year. But this was truly a fantastic movie that I would recommend to anybody who likes watching movies.
All right. Damn. See, I'm trying to figure out what movie that I've watched this year that touched me in such a way.
I considered giving you guys the list of these topics before the show so that you could like pre-prepare. But I was like, nah, it'll be more interesting if they have to come up with something on the spot.
You're a bastard, but it's totally fine.
Well, the reason that I say that is because, like, if you have to just think about it, then you're working off of your feelings, and that's what I want to hear about. Like, what did you feel like you really connected with?
Well, I really connected with Peppermint.
I regret this now.
It's the best fucking. No, I'm fucking with you. Like, no. Although Peppermint is definitely up there. I was very surprised that Jennifer Garner is actually a better Batman, but it's fine. You don't have to watch it. I'm just letting you know it's amazing. But if I had to pick a movie, I'm actually here. I'm looking at it. No, no, and yeah, it was Snowpiercer.
Ooh, I love Snowpiercer.
Yeah, Snowpiercer is just such a great fucking movie, and experiencing watching such a movie with my soon-to-be wife was on a whole nother level. Because that movie has some fucking action, has drama, moral dilemmas. Oh God, like God complexes, selfless hero complexes brought on by horrible past decisions. Like it it's just a wild fucking ride, and you don't get off until the very end. Like there's still more until like the very very last scene, and it makes you think about a lot of questions. Like what type of person would you be if it's the end of the fucking world, and the only way to survive is by getting on this train that is divided up into class systems? Would you adhere to the status quo just to like live, or would you fight so everybody gets their, God-given born rights to where everybody can live equally, thus risking the survival of everybody on that train? It's a lot of moral dilemmas that you have to think about, on top of, would you sacrifice person X, Y, or Z for the greater good of what's left of humanity? There's so many questions that come up from Snowpiercer that you would just sit down and like you can have endless conversations about how you would handle those situations and those decisions and what consequences that might bring.
I think the most interesting part about Snowpiercer for me is the kind of like moral questions that it raises about the people who live in the back,
Yeah.
and how they weren't supposed to be there. They just forced their way onto the train because they felt like they deserved to live,
Yep.
and the bitterness that put into the people who bought their tickets and such. It's a really interesting movie. Did you know that that's based on a comic book series?
Yes. And I haven't read it verbatim, but I have read the synopsis of it.
Okay. Yeah, you should read them. They're interesting. What about you, Jordan?
Best movie I've seen this year? Star Wars Episode 5.
God damn it.
I didn't watch a lot of movies other than the ones that we watched, but I mean, come on. That was an easy one for me.
All right.
Yeah, sorry. I'm already
You're
not a
fine.
movie guy. I'm already not a movie guy. This podcast has helped me branch out to a lot of movies that I wouldn't normally see. But I mean, still, it's episode 5. Come on.
Fucking love you, Jordan.
But come on, come on. It's episode 5.
Come on.
Come on. I can kick off our next topic, or if you want to keep going in order.
I want you to try that one again because you fucked up.
Really?
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. That's totally fine.
Because 4 is yours.
I do wonder how that's going to impact our last category here. But no, yeah. You want to kick off the favorite game this year? What do you got, man?
I would love to kick off favorite game, and my favorite game of the year has been Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh,
Yep.
Jesus
Yep.
fucking
Bring it on.
Christ. Do we
Animal
have to
Crossing
have
New
him
Horizons.
elaborate? Or...
Are you surprised by that? Because I'm not.
I'm
Comes in
not,
with the platinum.
but...
Comes in with the platinum. Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Jesus.
Look at this mofo trying to use PlayStation trophy
Ew.
metaphors and shit. He doesn't even know about platinum trophies, and he's trying to talk about. You know what? Doesn't even matter. Why did you like Animal Crossing so much, man? Tell us about it.
It's just, I mean, if we want to use Dean's argument against me, it's the most basic game for the most basic person. It's perfect. It makes me happy. Like, this year has really sucked, dude. And a lot of shitty things have happened.
Sure.
And Animal Crossing has consistently made me feel warm, fuzzy, and happy. And if a game can do that consistently every time I play it, and I recognize that it's not everyone's experience, but because it is mine, I have to give it that top spot because the impact that it's made on this year, a particularly turmoil-filled year. So it's been a very warm blanket in a very cold and bitter and unforgiving winter. So definitely top spot for me.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right.
What
Absolutely.
about you, John?
I'm actually gonna give you my top 3 in order of least to greatest. Number 3, bottom of the barrel, was Pokemon Sword and Shield. I actually really enjoyed playing that game. It reinvigorated my love for Pokemon and caused me to play not 1, not 2, but 3 different gameplays of Pokemon to get everything I wanted. And I had a blast doing all of them. Like, Dean was a part of those conversations about, oh man, which Pokemon should I put on this team for this run through? Like, oh, I need to round out my team. Which one should I get? And I would breed those Pokemon. I actually started doing competitive battles online, and it was just a fun experience. My only qualm and why it's not higher on the spot is its DLC was lacking. I mean, the second DLC was near or at the level that we expected and should, and had a lot of replayability, but it still was only like maybe like if you wanted to, an hour, maybe 2 of gameplay, and then you're done. The first DLC was hot garbage. Just they should have just packed that in with the second DLC and released everything all at once. That would have been fucking immaculate, in my opinion. I would have been like, yeah, that cost me an extra $40. I see that. That's perfect. That's the perfect price point for everything that just came with that. Number 2 is gonna be my replay of Breath of the Wild on the Switch, because that game is just amazing, super fun, and the freedom you get to choose your own path and how you go about completing the game is just awe-inspiring, and it was done really well. Because a lot of games like give you the illusion of freedom of choice, like, you know, I think it was like Fable, where it's like, oh, if you make this decision, it's gonna have a harboring consequence, and it's not really a consequence, and like usually the paths diverge and then they come back to the same ending again. So it's whatever when that happens. But Breath of the Wild, like, yes, all of your paths lead to one closing point, one conclusion, one climax, but you choose when that happens. Like, it is the epitome of freedom. Like, if you don't want to fucking finish the game, you don't fucking have to. You can unlock everything in the game and then not even defeat the final boss. Just roam around and just do whatever the hell you want to do. You can even build your own house in it, so it's got a little Animal Crossing bullshit in there. Could spruce it up, make it look nice. You can paint your different armor sets, which is a first in the Zelda game, where like you can find your favorite armor set and make it better and more customizable, more personalized with your color palette choicings, which I thought was really cool. Because my favorite armor set is the Savage armor set with a gray black accents. Looks fucking sick as shit. But yeah, I had a really fun time playing Zelda, and I still have to finish the DLC. That's just me playing the main game. Um, honorable mention has to go to Spider-Man Remastered. I played that because I got the PS5. I still didn't play the original Spider-Man, although the kids did. Both of the kids finished it before I did. And then I ended up playing it on the remastered. And it was glorious. It was really fun. The story was amazing. I didn't expect such a well fleshed out and gripping story in a video game. But yeah, it was really really fun to the point where I would cuss out the boys if they were trying to spoil anything that was happening in the video game. But the top spot definitely has to go to Demon Souls for me. Just one, it is graphically gorgeous. Even though I don't have a TV that can make use of all of the technological advances of the PS5 and everything that they put into the work of graphically enhancing the remake, it still looks amazing. And I've never played a game where every step I take is just constant heart palpitations. And it's figuring out every piece of the puzzle as you go forward. Every move I make could be my last. And every decision I make could have a huge consequence. And it's just super fun, and like farming the items, like figuring out how I want to go. Like, again, a game where you can pick the path you choose to the end. And it's just so much fun. And I was actually sad that I stopped playing it to play Spider-Man Remastered because I was waiting for someone to catch up.
Listen, bitch.
But
John,
it's so fun. Yeah.
do you prefer those like multi story split games like Mass Effect or like what you were describing? I actually haven't played the Spider-Man, so I don't really know, but
Well,
is that usually your cup of tea?
No, so I like games where there's enough content to where sometimes it could feel the way you want to play. The main story is just a backdrop to what you want to do. Like, I don't like it when the main plot point of the game is like you make one decision or another decision and it drastically changes what path you're on. I mean, that's cool and all, but usually they don't stick the landing on it. It's very hollow and shallow with how it's brought about. But when you have like total autonomy, like in Breath of the Wild or even Demon Souls, like
You're making your own story, right?
Yeah, the only thing in Breath of the Wild and Demon Souls that stops you from doing what you want to do is your skill level. And I'm not talking about your skill level in the game. I'm talking about your skill level as a player, as a person. Because in Breath of the Wild, you can complete the whole fucking game without getting any power-ups or gear. That's what speedrunners do. Like naked 3-heart clears and shit.
In some, yeah, like launching
insane.
Themselves across the map on a rock.
Oh yeah, and like figuring out like
aim.
Yeah, like figuring out that like I saw the way that these speedrunners were getting through the puzzles, and I'm just like, what the fuck? It was pretty crazy, and that's what I mean. And like in Demon Souls, like there's one area that you start, and then after you get access to the other areas, you choose which one you go to. Like Dean, when he was playing Demon Souls, is a totally different path than what I took because of the build that he was taking and the benefits of taking one route over another, which the boons from it made him a fucking god in the game, and I'm kind of pissed. But you know, whatever, it's fine. I'm not salty or anything about it. But that's what I mean. That's what makes the game so fun, is that your choices and your skill level have so much weight to your gaming experience and change your gaming experience from person to person based on that. And that's what I love about those games. And that's why they're my top two. Demon Souls is just above Breath of the Wild is because if I fuck up one time, I'm dead and have to start all over just to try and get my souls back. And I've done some pretty stupid shit. And the best part is like the final boss of the game isn't even the hardest boss to fight. It's actually an optional boss that I'm prepping for. It's just great. It's just a fucking fun time.
I like that. I think I'm gonna steal a little bit of your fire on that one.
That's fine.
Because I was looking it over, and I've played something like 125 games this year.
Jesus Christ.
Not all of them are long. Some of them, like, I'm just looking at my trophy list here. Like this one, I finished in 45 minutes. So I've played a lot of games, but not all of them are worth talking about. Some of them that I would shout out specifically, Ghost of Tsushima, for sure. Astro's Playroom, an incredible game on PlayStation 5.
Oh hell yeah!
Way more than just a tech demo.
Yeah, that it seemed like I was like, oh, it's just showing you how to use a controller. It's like, no, it's actually a really great platformer. It's super fun.
Miles Morales, fucking awesome game. Bug Snacks, was really surprising. I did not expect to love Bug Snacks as much as I do.
Yeah, I heard it in your voice when you were talking about
it. there's something about fucking Bug Snacks that I can't describe to you in words. It is just a very special little game, to me at least. Doggerai, which I streamed, this little Game Boy aesthetic Ninja Gaiden type game where you play as a dog. It's a fucking weird little concept game, but it's so much fun. It was a really great stream that we had with that game. But I think, God, it's so tough, man. Because like I'm thinking of other really incredible experiences that I had this year. I played Super Mario 64 for the first time. Dragon Quest 3 I played for the first time. If I had to pick just one game, though, you know what? I think it's Rocket League, man.
I can see that.
And I say that because not because it's a step above other games that I played this year. I would say that a lot of those games that I just named off to you are better than Rocket League conceptually. But Rocket League gave me a game that I can really sink my teeth into, a game that I'm going to continue to play for a long time, and a game that allowed me to play with you guys, which is something that I don't get very often. Like sometimes I can convince John to play some Call of Duty with me or something, but very rarely. And Rocket League is a game that got its hooks in him too. So now he's convincing me to jump on and play during random times throughout the day, which is something that I think I was missing in my life. So I think for those reasons I got to give it to Rocket League.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's definitely the game that you got the most enjoyment out of, and like, if you don't want to do it competitively, you don't have to. You just like do it just for the fun of it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, like, even if you do it just for the fun of it, like you'll get better at it as you continue playing, which is something that we're seeing dividends on already. And I only have about 22 hours into the game, so it's I think it's gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see where that road goes. um, John, I want you to kick this one off because You have by far and away the most experience with this of the three of us, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite TV series this year, man?
Oh God, that is a really good fucking question. Holy shit. I finished a lot of them too. Why? I wish you would have given me the list on at least that one. At least told me that one, because this is a lot. That is a lot that I had to sift through. Best TV series. I mean, You on Netflix was super interesting, especially like when you're rooting for the main character who's just basically an obsessive sociopath that was brought upon by his own abuse. That's definitely high up on the list. Um The Promised Neverland anime was good. Let me see. Let's see. God, now you have to make me like think about what I've actually like watched and finished. Baki. Oh, found it. The Good Place.
Oh,
The Good Place. I actually got to finish that this year. Um, I binged that when I saw the final season was up, dude. I binged the shit out of that. And it was such a good ending. It handles hu- monumental religious questions with such a gravitas and a splash of comedy, just incredibly well, and would spark so many different conversations, even by the most devout of religious followers. And I feel like that's how you know you're watching a good medium, when you know that it will spark conversations and provocations from people who have dedicated their lives to these beliefs, because it's presented so well, and it's presented in a way that you don't even know you're gonna like think about it until you just start laughing about it and then like start dissecting the scene. Like, I don't know if any of you have watched The Good Place, but you need to. There's a reason why it was like basically heralded by all the critics as being fucking amazing, and it lasted for the perfect amount of 4 seasons and ended really, really well, almost perfectly, which a lot of good shows don't know how to stick the landing. I know that from just bountiful amounts of experience. But yeah, straight up, the Good Place, one of the best series that I've watched, definitely in my top 5. Super good, because it's a comedy, but it's also a poignant look on the afterlife and how we view all of our choices on this earth and the consequences of said choices. And it talks about different philosophies at nauseum, but it presents it in a way that anybody can like have a deep discussion about it. It's just really, really good, and the cast is just amazing. Mm. On top of the fact they put in Maya Rudolph as the judge of the universe, so good, man. It's just so good. Like, again, if you haven't watched The Good Place, watch it.
what do you got, Jordan?
All right. Talking about best show.
Yes, sir.
Did I watch any new shows this year? This was a COVID
Yes.
year, so I had plenty of reruns. I'm thinking like a
Yeah.
new show.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It could be anything.
Just the show
Yeah,
that you
I
watched
know,
this
but I
year
want
that you
to.
thought is the best.
You know what? This year, I'm gonna say. Portlandia.
Ooh. All right. I've never
I,
watched that show, but I've heard amazing things about it.
I love Fred Armisen, and it's such a wacky freaking show, dude. From the first episode, it is such a wacky ride. So I'm gonna have to say that one because that one's antics got me through some pretty crappy times this year. So it's getting the platinum.
Oh
like that.
shit! I just remembered a show. All right, I'll let you finish, Dean, and I'll just give the honorable mention because I don't know if you're gonna bring it up.
Go ahead.
No. I don't know if you're gonna bring it up. Oh, okay. Lovecraft Country.
Oh, I forgot about Lovecraft Country.
Exactly.
Dude, that's a great one.
Exactly.
What a show, dude.
Dude,
Wow.
holy fuck.
That show is fucking awesome.
That show is the tits.
Dude, 2020's been so long, I thought that was last year, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Like, Lovecraft Country is legit the tits.
Yeah,
There's very few shows that me and Kim will like be like, shit, we gotta watch the next episode and just be totally enamored by it. One of them was Game of Thrones until the last season, and then I wanted to kill myself. And another one was You. Just got her into Mandalorian.
Yes, sir.
But dude, when we watched the Lovecraft Country together, jaws on the floor, constant gaping maws of just awe at how good the show is. And
I told you, man. You didn't want to watch that shit, and I kept hounding you to do it.
I mean, I looked at it, it looked interesting, and I was like, I don't know, maybe. And I was like, all right. He's like, I know you won't hound me about something unless it's amazing. And dude, understatement of the century.
Yeah.
And for the fact that they had a show that I just thought was going to be about, living in the South in, what was it, the 1950s?
That sounds right. I'm not exactly sure what year it is.
Like, I want to say 1950s, 1960s. It was during one of the wars, so Vietnam War, so I'd probably say 60s-ish.
Sure.
Anyways, but where racism and the division of the Americas between black and white was abound. But to have a show and just in that time period and have that as a subplot, as a backdrop to the actual main story, and to do it so well, it's just a masterstroke. It was, God, words escape me how good that show was.
It's unbelievable. I cannot wait for season 2.
Yeah.
That said, even with that new information that I hadn't considered, my answer to this has not changed. Originally, I was gonna say The Mandalorian. And then as I was thinking about it, I was like, you're a fucking idiot. The Mandalorian doesn't even hold a candle to possibly the greatest TV show ever made. One Piece is
Jesus
absolutely...
Christ.
You had to go there.
I did have to go there.
You had to go there.
You know
You're
what?
there.
And
you rented the car. You got there. You checked in safe on Facebook. You're there.
I have to applaud you, good sir.
God.
I have to applaud you. Because Jordan, you have no idea. I've legit been poking the bear to watch One Piece for years.
You've been slowly corrupting and breaking him down.
Yep. And when he's like, all right, John, I'm going to bite the bullet and watch One Piece. And I was like, dude, if you're going to watch it, I'm going to rewatch it with you. I'm going to go down that roller coaster with you.
Yes.
And it was amazing. I forgot how good it was. As I stated before, heartbreaking moments. Like, I'm a grown-ass man, and I'll tell you straight up, I cried at a lot of different moments in that fucking shit. Because the setup of it is just so good. Like, most heartbreaking moments, like, oh, you see it coming, oh, this and that, but like, just the way that they lay it out in front of you is just so good. You can't help but feel. Man, good fucking choice, man. Really good fucking choice.
There's no other choice. Like, straight up.
The Mandalorian would have been a good choice.
It would have been, but that would have been a good choice. It would have been a good choice, but compared to One Piece, like, because there's not a lot of long-standing animes that get better. Most long-standing animes stick to a formula and just rehash it out over and over. Case Closed is one of those that's basically probably never going to end.
Yeah, it's just the
Naruto.
same thing week after week after
Yep.
week.
Naruto, even ending, like, it still like was the same formula over and over again. But with One Piece, it took the shonen formula on top of like incredible world building with subplot upon subplot upon subplot with interesting characters, backstories, and different arcs for each character and how they deal with their strife and turmoil, on top of the obstacles that they have to deal with in the form of people, the government, and just like, wanting to sail the fucking sea. It just compounds to just such an amazing adventure that's almost indescribable.
I mean,
So-
like you watch it and you're like, you get up to Crocodile and you're like, there's no fucking way it gets better than this. That was such an unbelievable arc and build up and an unbelievable boss fight that like they had to really think their way through and get really creative to defeat this
How many-
fucking guy. And that's just the first fucking stepping
How many
stone.
episodes until Crocodile?
I think it's is it in the 200s? I'm pretty sure it's in the
Oh,
200s.
dude. You're telling me to get to the first great fight or the first great
No.
boss fight?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that Crocodile is a culminary moment in the show.
It's one of those where like you see the show just step up to another level, basically.
So I wanted to remind our
Let's see.
listeners that we do record this podcast live, and you can join us at twitch.tv/endlesscola. And it's important because we have Endless Cola stands in the chat, namely Candy_Cornbozo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling him Cornbozo, not Cornbonzo. Because he claims
He's
claims-
so fucking mad.
Mandalorian on an objective level is probably worse. Dude, Mandalorian is 16. Corn, you're awesome. And man, you've been there on my side a lot. Sometimes you're not. And but I look the other way. As the
Crocodile
good
Fight
book
is
tells
episode
us,
110, by the way.
as the good book tells us,
The good book.
turn the other
The
way
good
on
book
the road.
of One Piece? Yes, it does. It tells
Yeah.
us about our Lord and Savior Luffy.
Yeah, and a quick excerpt. I vastly overestimated. The first time that Crocodile's introduced is episode 76, and when he's
Dude,
defeated,
you're talking about 30-year mortgage turnarounds here. We're saying, I feel like you guys are fucking investment bankers, and I'm going to you and go, hey, I'm looking for a really good investment to bring me into my retirement. And you're sitting there, well, we have this anime that's never going to end. It's over 1,000
it's going
episodes
to end,
already. It's over 1,000 episodes already. And I believe that, if you just put the time in and you play your cards right and you stay healthy, you can have a great retirement around episode 300. That's too much of a commitment, dude. I'm trying to
that's a bitch.
I'm trying
Dude,
to.
okay.
I am a day trading kind of guy. Okay, I need 26 episodes. I
You
need
sound
8. I need
exactly
16.
like Dean. You sound exactly like Dean when I first talked to him about this, and that was when it was at episode. When was it? It was at like episode like 450 or some shit like that, or like 600. But yeah, he gets defeated at episode 110. So I mean, if you want to like get a taste of One Piece, you can just watch 110 episodes. No big deal.
You're gonna be hardcore
throw
hooked
that-
by that point, though.
You throw that number around like politicians throw the word billion around. That is an obscene. Can you imagine going to a layman and say, hey, construction worker, would you enjoy watching 112 episodes of anime to just kind of get like a payoff from it, and they're going to go, no, because I'm watching The Bachelor tonight, which is one episode like every day throughout the entire season.
Hey,
No, that's
hey,
Love
Jordan.
Island. Sorry.
Let me ask you something, man.
Hold on, I do want to my original point with what Korn said, because he's not getting off to this one. He said Mandalorian on an objective level is probably worse. Dude, it has 16 episodes versus the literal Everest. I'm a little kid playing in the mud, and I made a little mound of dirt, and my mom just yelled at me.
One Piece
But guess
was
what?
already better by episode 16.
But
Oh my god! Now you're just that's the most hyperbole I've ever heard in my entire life. You don't possibly believe that at all. There's no way you believe that in 16 episodes of One Piece, it is better than the entirety of what we've seen in Mandalorian.
What do I believe?
I'll give you.
Well,
I will
hold
believe
on.
you if you say after everything that you've watched. I will believe you if you say the entirety of what you've seen, or even a few hundred episodes. But 16. I mean, has he even gotten a boat at episode 16? Has he even
he's
Yes.
been
swam?
had a boat. He's
So,
gotten actually the
Episode-
most badass man to be on his crew already.
So
I feel like
Well-
episode 16, like 1 day has passed, probably, right? Maybe like 1.5 days by episode
Probably
I'd be
16.
two,
shocked at
to
how
be
much
honest with
time
you.
passes. But okay, let's do it this way. An episode of One Piece is about 15 to 20 minutes. An episode of The Mandalorian is conservatively 40 minutes. So let's just do
that's
some
conservative.
double it up. So let's see, where are we at in One Piece episode 32? Episode 32 is Kokoyasi Village. Oh, bro. Yeah. It was better by episode 32.
What is? Hold up. What is
Crazy.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Would that
I have to
experience?
agree.
It was way better by episode 32.
Oh,
Like,
I
Would
have
that
to
experience
agree.
transfer for everybody, or do you believe that it would? Do you believe that would apply to me because you know my background in anime, or is that a general statement that anyone that can, let's say anyone that can tolerate anime, because some people just
So
don't get it, you know?
Here would be my response. So for you personally, I'm not sure, because you do love to ride the dick that is Star Wars pretty hard, man. So I'm not confident that you would agree with me by episode 32. I am confident that if you were to watch, since we were talking about it earlier, up through Crocodile, so 110 episodes, by that point, not only would you be hooked into the show, you would agree with me. I will say that definitively. By the time that you got through the crocodile part, you would agree with me.
Yeah, and like the worst part about that, Jordan, is like it literally only gets better. It only gets better. Like there's like lists of top 10 anime fights. One Piece had an anime fight, like I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. That was the top anime fight. They did another list. Guess what? One Piece had another anime fight that they just introduced that became the top of that list. That's how good it is. It just gets better.
When I die, I will be cremated, and my ashes will be spread to whatever I care about when I die. I don't know what the hell it's going to be, but I will buy a tombstone specifically so I can have it etched in there that says "Here lies Jordan," and it's going to have like my date of birth. He born this day, died 2021 probably, and it is going to say never watch One Piece, and I will be immortalized.
Jordan,
You son of a bitch!
Let me ask you
I will be
something.
immortalized with that.
Gonna piss on your grave.
Am I waiting for a question?
How I was just waiting to see how long you would take to respond.
Excellent.
Oh crap! I am clearly surrounded here. But
First of all, shout out to Joseph in the chat, man. What up, Joe? Second of all, my real question is, how many episodes were in all of Cheers and Frasier?
Ooh, I don't know. A number of them, not as many as Yes, I can pretty confidently say not as many as One Piece. And
No, yeah, that's not my point.
you're not baiting me to say that it's a better show, right?
Two
'Cause
hundred
I
seventy
won't say
three.
that.
That's
plus
only Cheers.
264. What's 273 plus 264?
Like there,
That
you really
would be
all right.
537.
So you got half of One Piece under your belt already, man.
Oh, this is where you're okay.
My point is that, like, if you can commit to something of that magnitude, One Piece is not that. At least 110 episodes of One Piece is not an outrageous ordeal.
And on top of that, those episodes, most of it is filler, and there's guides that basically say, "Hey, watch it from this point to this point. You can skip this shit. Watch it from this point to this point. Skip this shit. You want to watch this movie during this time frame? You can. It doesn't add anything to the story, but it's nice.
Dude,
or you can just power through it."
I know, but I shouldn't have to use the Nintendo Power Guide. Turn to page 87 and find the hidden, shortcuts in One Piece to be able to ignore.
Have you watched like
filler
Naruto
episodes.
or Bleach? Have you watched Naruto or Bleach?
No,
Okay,
those are.
that's fine.
I'll etch those two on my tombstone as well.
That's totally fine.
There's only 8 filler episodes in the first
110 arcs.
30 episodes.
Here's my reasoning for that. So I burned through Cheers and Frasier because those aren't shows that you need to really listen to and understand the nuance of characters or or like the overall plot, or make sure you keep up with the character motivations or developments and things like that. I'm sure that One Piece is enjoyed best when you know what's going on, you know why a character reveal or a motivation change is important. The history of it is critical to the enjoyment. I'm sure there's some big pivot moments in One Piece, and if I didn't know what the hell was going on, they'd be lost on me. So, Cheers.
Not necessarily, because they remind you in the episode that what the memory is poignant. They actually.
Well, still, I mean, it'd be way less of an impact. My point is, at Cheers and Frasier don't have episodes where Frasier just decides, you know what, I'm done being a radio psychologist and I'm going to be a serial killer. It never takes a turn. It is consistently always the same. It is just, what are these goofy characters up to today? And I bring that up because I can watch those types of shows while I work. Because sometimes before, my work was way more repetitive, and I could just churn and burn through my tasks, burn through my queue, do whatever I need to, and then every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, glance over at Frasier or glance over at Cheers. I can't believe I forgot characters' names in Cheers, like Carla in Cheers or anyone, right? And then be like, oh, what are these goofy? Oh, look at them. They're being drunk again in the bar. Awesome. That's hilarious. And, it's endearing sometimes. And the developments and the plot points are just general enough that you don't need to know, like, you understand a character the first time they're revealed, and it's built that way specifically. So I can't watch One Piece while I work. I would have to commit to like dedicated time to watch it, or at least non-work activities, something very minimal to enjoy it. That's my thought process behind all that. And I don't have that much free time to use on One Piece or Naruto or Bleach. I don't have that much time to do that.
I can agree with that.
I don't know, man.
You're like those scumbags who watch the dubs.
You watched all of Shield Hero and all of Slime. Those are going on at the same time. That's 50 episodes right there. I'm pretty sure you were watching My Hero at one point. That's another like 80 some odd episodes. Your argument's pretty flimsy, dude. You just don't want to. Just say you don't want to.
No, I mean, sure. There's definitely there's a part of me that looks at it like my Everest, and it is just it's too much effort for me to climb. And I want to also wrap this whole thing up in the perspective of, we're talking about watching an anime and being lazy and watching shows, right? Like it's inherently a silly conversation, right? Like why I can't watch something, but I just don't think that I can give it the time that it would deserve to really be enjoyed, and it's just one of those things in my life that I've closed that door. I'm like, you know what? I've enjoyed a lot of things. I've watched a lot of cool stuff, played a lot of cool games. This one, I'm not going to hang my hat on this. I'm just, all right, I'm going to be that guy that doesn't watch One Piece, and then I'm going to meme the shit out of it, and I'm going to be the curmudgeon in every single time we talk about it because it's funny, and they'll still think it sucks. So we're going to do it every time we talk about it, but I just made my decision. I'm an 80-year-old man spraying kids in my yard, and I don't want to watch One Piece.
Right on. So on that note, what was your biggest disappointment of the year, Jordan?
His biggest disappointment was not watching One Piece.
Yeah, it was.
I knew it. I already knew it, dude. I've been waiting for that for 30 minutes. Okay,
Bro, that was a perfect setup. John went up there and dunked that shit on.
My God,
gotta dunk it, man.
Gotta
dunk it.
Easiest alley-oop of all time.
Dude, I basically was holding the ball over the net. Yeah, I acknowledge that. Congratulations. You dunked on an old man. So
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Don't get on the court if you're not ready to ball, old man.
Bitch knees. If you can't pass a metal detector, don't get on my court. That was a knee implant joke.
I got you.
Biggest disappointment in. By the way, chat and listeners, for context, I'm getting berated in our Discord chat with freaking One Piece gifs and images, and this will probably go on for about an hour.
Hey, so not good. One Piece, Zoro. Get it right, God. Bitch.
He's just the only one badass. Just telling you, dude, you don't know what you're missing.
So, Dean, the disappointment, is that just any type of disappointment or specifically media?
Just any type of disappointment.
You know what? Do what feels right.
Biggest disappointment. I watched one episode of one thing that I couldn't get into it. I don't remember what it was. I wish I knew what it was. I don't know. Biggest disappointment. All right. I guess I can give you a look. Biggest video gaming disappointment, because that's too broad of a question. But the biggest video gaming disappointment so far this year, even though I've only played 2 hours of it, I am very disappointed to hear of the disheartening news behind Cyberpunk and the practices that CD Projekt Red have been caught doing. Some shady stuff, some disheartening PR choices. It's not very good. I disown that kind of stuff. I'm still going to play Cyberpunk because I pre-ordered it and I bought it, and I owe them that, but I am very disappointed in them. Not going to ostracize or cancel them, but I'm very disappointed in what I've seen since that launch. And including the fact that they've been pulled from the PlayStation Store, which is the biggest hit. That's the nuclear. Didn't I say that's the nuclear option last episode? No, I think I said refunding all of the PS4 versions, but this is close to that. This is as close to that nuclear option. This is the carpet bomb option for them.
Yeah, it's not from good. The PSN Best Store. Buy pulled the same shit too. Best Buy is saying that they'll refund every copy of Cyberpunk if somebody wants it.
I can't remember another time when that's happened. I mean, maybe you guys can remember another game that's happened to. No, but I cannot.
Not a single
one. I can't remember another game. Oh, and by the way, chat, yeah, One Piece gifts are still coming in this whole time. Yep. in my peripheral, got 2 monitors. It's blowing up with Luffy and all of his wacky friends and stretchy arms. It's just blowing me up. So yep, that's where we are.
Arms,
that's my
bastard.
Disappointment. And next.
God damn it. So good.
Oh fuck. I'll go next. I have to say, my son blessed. He's so blessed right now. He's he's more blessed than the Pope right now. My biggest disappointment this year was Mulan, the live action adaptation, and not just because of the really kind of shitty way that they released that movie, but that movie just sucks, dude. It may be more like authentic to the original story and um the Chinese themes that circle the story and this, that, and the other, but like as an adaptation of the animated feature, which is what it really is, that movie's terrible. So I definitely have to give it to Milan this year. Like, it's not only disappointing, but it's just bad.
Mine's a little bit broader than that.
Okay.
My biggest disappointment is fucking COVID.
Ooh,
COVID.
big
Oh
brain.
wow. That's
Dude,
has that affected you personally?
bitch,
Is that
don't play with me.
you know what? COVID is, of course, everyone like that's like the biggest disappointment. Me because it enabled Dean to watch all these freaking episodes of One Piece. How about that?
I was gonna do that anyway.
Oh my
I'm just waiting
god.
for the U.S.
COVID just gave
government
me
to.
the opportunity to read the entire manga too.
We got
Yeah.
Operation Warp Speed to release vaccines. We need Operation Light Speed to delete all copies of One Piece across the world.
You're not down. You're not down.
Calling all Russian hackers to delete
Yeah.
all of One Piece.
Yeah, I don't even need to like explain why COVID is just the biggest.
You really
disappointment.
don't.
It's
Yeah, like just putting that out there, I
fuck,
understood.
man. Just
Yeah.
shit.
Can confirm.
But this
COVID
does make
sucks.
it better. This does make it better, especially these two. This shit is so good, so good.
Yeah, One Piece does make most things better. Dude, that image, I love it so much.
God, dude, having like the Robin ugly face was probably the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. Like, because she's always super composed and never like she says like the most obtuse and morbid shit with such a straight face. It's like maybe they're lost and they got eaten by the gator or whatever. Like maybe their bones have been burned to ashes. And she says it with such a straight face. But then they give her that face, bro. That made my fucking day. Oh, love me some One Piece.
Let's move on to our final award for this wonderful 2020 year. Our final episode of 2020. Our final episode of our first year of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Our last topic. What was each of your favorite episode of the show?
John, you go first. I went first on the disappointments. I've been talking a lot. I've been bitching a lot. John, go ahead and take this
I
one.
mean,
Take one for the team.
we're bombarding you with One Piece, so I understand why you would bitch a lot. So it's fine.
You know what?
It's totally fine.
I'll help you out. I thought about this beforehand, so I already have my answer to this question. I'll lead it off. I'll let you guys go afterward. For me, my favorite episode was The Shining. The Shining / Doctor Sleep. One, because I got to watch The Shining again. That's always a good time. But letting John especially experience that movie for the first time and him walking away with such a positive experience. I didn't particularly like Doctor Sleep, but I know that you really enjoyed Doctor Sleep. And
Awesome.
if that's what draws you into the Shining universe, that's great in my eyes. Giving that appreciation for Stanley Kubrick, who is undoubtedly one of the great directors of the past 100 years, is something that I I'm really glad that I had an opportunity to pass on. And I think there was a really great conversation that we had around it. So I had a lot of fun prepping for that episode, recording that episode, and for once in my life, editing that episode. And I would do it again. What about you, John?
I'll give you my top 3, like
Okay.
I did with video games.
Fence sitting, I like it. Very Jordan move.
First of all, it's not fence sitting. I'm letting you know, like, when I give you my top 3, just like with the video games, it's like in order of how I like them. So you're still getting the top 1, you jackass.
Hey, I mean, you call it fence sitting. I got a jacuzzi on this fence. All right, I got a beer cooler over here. I got, what else is over here? I got a nice lawn chair. We're living large on this fence.
But do you have the plastic flamingo?
It fell out off the fence.
I'm out.
I
I'm out.
I haven't
Dude.
gotten it. I'm waiting. No, I'm waiting
1
for
out
my
of
mom
10
to get home and give
fence.
it to me. She has to pick it up. I'm stuck up here.
Stupid.
All right, John.
No,
top 3. What do you got?
So bottom of the list, we got Disappointed. I really like that episode, just for the fact of like I got to like put in the knowledge, my very obtuse knowledge of everything Kevin Sorbo, because I love Hercules' Legendary Journey. And it was just it was just a fun fucking episode.
John,
honestly.
you're being humble. You final flashed your knowledge of that show, Hercules, into my face. That was such a left turn. If there is anything probably that you could say, what's something unexpected that you would, like that John could surprise you with? I would say, oh, he has a perfect memory of Hercules, the live action series. Like that's the most unexpected thing ever, dude.
I told you, it was like, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Like, when I saw that I was able to download the whole fucking series and have it available to me on my computer, I straight up came in my pants and shot through the roof. Like, that show, I grew up with that show, watching it on, what was the station? It was USA. That show, and like, rewatching it after, like, gaining more cinema knowledge, watching more movies and like broadening my horizons and seeing how many prominent actors and actresses were in that shit, it was just better and better. It just got just aged like a fine wine. It was so good. Like, I'm probably gonna rewatch it after shit. After I'm done with Mobile Fighter G Gundam.
My favorite part about all this is that nobody knows what you're talking about because that entire segment got edited out.
You son of a bitch.
What? That was the thumbnail.
I know, that's what makes it so funny, dude.
You're such a piece of shit. I hate everything. I'm almost about to throw my chair off of this balcony.
So that's just a hidden super
That's
deep
a
cut.
hidden freaking gem that only someone who is like, we weren't even streaming the episode live at that point. You're a piece of shit.
We sure weren't.
We need like cut clips or something, because that shook me when I learned about John's love of Hercules.
We should.
I'll tell you what, man. I still have the raws. If you want to edit it out, have at it. I won't.
God damn it! Put that fucking soundbite on there, on your page somewhere. Jesus Christ! All right, number 2. What is Vader bathing in? 1, because I really like that movie and was surprised at like how much I like that movie. And 2, just the reaction that me talking about basically Vader looking like he's bathing in like a huge vat of cum was the best thing ever. It was fucking hilarious. Like, I literally watched that, like, listen to that episode just for that moment. And for your guys' like reaction and laughter, like it was so good.
My favorite part is that you're reading off the YouTube titles.
Yeah.
So like
I know what they are, because like I don't remember everything, but if I read, like, when I read the YouTube titles, like, oh, it was this one, oh, it was that one. It's like, yeah.
No, it's funny to me because like if somebody didn't watch the YouTube version of it, they're not gonna know what the fuck you're talking about, man, because the titles are YouTube exclusives.
Yeah. So the last one, that's fine. That means they just have to go and watch it on YouTube. More views, bitch. Anyways, my favorite top one was the first podcast I was part of, which is PC is the best platform, kind of. And it was because, for one, for me, that started my whole fascination with, like, you know, actually fleshing out discussions about things we're passionate about, and like actually hearing myself for the first time and hating the sound of my own voice and then sharing it with people about, like, you know, the things that I hold deeply. And it was just an awe-inspiring experience and opened my eyes about the things that I love, and that I can actually, like, you know, hold a coherent conversation from time to time about these things. And it was just a really fucking fun. Even though I was like in my garage and I sounded like I was like Batman in the Batcave, but it was still a fun fucking experience.
That's a good list.
Right on.
Solid list.
Right on.
Dean, what was the episode that the disappointed thumbnail was on? What was the topic of that one? Do you remember?
That was
that a roundtable one, or was that
No, it was a
movie
Star
one?
Wars episode.
No, it
it
was a Star Wars one.
was
Episode 2?
Last Jedi.
Oh my, yes, it was Last Jedi. Okay. I suppose it is my turn.
Jordan, this is a big responsibility, man. Whatever comes
Why?
out of your mouth next is going to be what we send off 2020 and the last episode of the show for this year with. Choose wisely, my friend.
Would you put it in anyone else's hands? Come on, dude. I'm Tom Brady here,
You're
dude.
right.
Super Bowl.
Thank
Come
you
on.
for reviewing with us. Thank you for spending the year with
No,
What About
no. Mine's kind of a more humble one. So let me give a brief retrospective. I can't help myself. Let me give a brief retrospective.
I mean, you don't have notes, but like you got it. We know who you are, Jordan.
Oh,
We've
no,
been with
I
you
knew
long enough.
Oh, no, actually, I'm sorry, I haven't brought this up. I time travel. I've taken notes on everything that you guys have already said. You know,
Fucking
I've
dumb, dude.
last time in the alternate universe, I didn't react harshly enough on the One Piece, and I thought it wasn't funny enough, so I went real ham this time. I got really
Jesus
triggered,
Christ.
so that was one of my personal notes. No, I've had a blast doing the podcast this year. Dean, I love you, you know that. And John, it's been really great talking with you and growing a friendship with you. Because I've only ever talked with you or seen you like once or twice before that when you just came down to Florida. So it's been awesome talking with you every week and just checking in on everybody. And I think that the unwritten value that this has had during COVID specifically has been incalculable. That word again, unmeasurable. I can't say the word incalculable. I can't do it. I can't do it. You guys know what that is. Edit it out. He won't edit it out.
Yeah, I got you.
So it's it's been unmeasurable because it's been nice checking in every week. We've committed to it every single week. It's been like it's not like work. I know how to spell it. Corn.
Oh shit!
Oh my god! Now I'm just getting the I can't even say that. I'm getting thesaurus bomb now. Oh my god!
Holy shit! Maybe I should have cut you off.
Dude, just play the music. Get me off stage.
Play the Oscar music.
This is what I get for trying to be, nice, right, and not just throwing shit at a wall. But I just want to say that it's been great keeping up every week, laughing every week. Just making sure that we've been cool, we've been okay, talking about stuff. It's been great. It's been really, really awesome through COVID to be able to do it. And it's been impressive that we've been able to keep it every single week since we committed to doing it, because it hasn't been easy to keep that schedule. All three of us have very diverse lives, and trying to get us together and wrangle us in has been really challenging. So it's good to actually have that consistency, something to look forward to, which I really do look forward to these episodes. They've been a lot of fun, and I love them to death. And I think that we've gotten a little bit better at it, right? As with anything, I think podcasting is a skill. We are by far nowhere near the best podcasters in the world, and probably never will be, but we have a lot of fun with it. I think that's what counts. My favorite part of the podcasts is always our free form discussions, stuff like this. It's always when we can just be ourselves. We're not critiquing something, and we just bullshit around with each other. We talk like we're sharing a beer, and we're hanging out. Like, that's always been the best part, because I don't get a lot of that outside of this podcast. So to be able to have those, to be able to normalize life, if only virtually, is super critical, and it's been great. It really has. That's always my favorite part. And thanks to this podcast, I've been able to experience a lot of diverse topics. Now, of course, it was a large portion of our episodes was Star Wars, because that was something that we wanted to do, and it was a good commitment to start the episodes and to keep us on track. And going back and rewatching all of them has given me a new perspective on a lot of episodes that I kind of shit on earlier, especially the prequels. And that was something that Dean saw, that character arc for me, although it happened over 3 episodes, but in One Piece time, that's like 300. But I used to be a prequel shitter oner, and now I do really enjoy the prequels, and I respect them and like them for what they are. But coming full circle, 2020 has been a shitty year, but this has always been really consistent, and a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what we do in 2021, because I think it's going to be a blast. But I think my favorite episode that I've done is it's not Mega Shark. Endless Fable, I swear to God, it's not Mega Shark. That's my least favorite episode. That's my least favorite topic of the entire year, was that dog shit movie. And he even spent points to highlight it. I hate that movie. My favorite episode for this year, my favorite episode has been Lost at Sea, which is a big throwback. We did Lost at Sea. I think that was the second episode with you, John, maybe second or third. That was back in June. Dean, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe June-ish. July, maybe June, July.
August. Right?
Cool. That seems a little late.
No,
was it August?
September. I think
it was September.
I can double check for you.
It's not necessarily important. I mean, other than the fact that I think I'm going into dementia, but it feels like it was somewhere in the summer, not in September. That episode was such a weird topic. I would have never in my life even have known about Lost at Sea. And Dean, if you want to give some context on what it is, because I already forgot the author and what and if this was his first or second piece behind Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
His first before Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, by Brian Lee O'Malley. It's just a quick little Canadian manga.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a quick little short story, nothing too substantial, but it really, the environment that I set myself up in, and I talked about it on the podcast too, that Saturday morning before we recorded it, the morning before we recorded it, I had some coffee. It was quiet. I was alone. I read it on my phone straight through, and it really made a very large emotional impact on me. And I talk about that a lot more in the podcast episode, but that's the kind of surprises. Those are the gems that I would have never have been able to experience if not for this podcast. So I would say that's my favorite episode.
That was August 27th, 2020.
Just right before September. Okay. In the summer still.
Well, I said August 1st, so I was actually dead on the first time. And then I thought it was September, which it was the first episode or the last episode before September. So, I mean, It's not bad for somebody who can't remember their own birthday some years.
Guys, no matter how much you highlight Mega Shark, my hate for it will not subside. Chat is blowing up right now. I hate that damn movie. We're never watching another one of them. And I'm a mod. If that's all I'm gonna say, all right?
So am I.
Shit.
I think it's well said. I think I probably could have guessed that if I really took a stab at it for you, but I'm glad that episode really resonated with you.
Yeah, I remember you being very surprised that, because I think your assumption was that I would have just walked into it haphazardly and just kind of been like, it was a teeny, emo-y kind of comic, and kind of passed it off. But I surprised myself too. I really did.
Guys, do you have anything else that you want to add before we sign off for 2020?
It's cold as fuck. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I hope my dick doesn't fall off.
This episode's coming out on December 31st.
I wish everybody a Happy New Year, and I still hope my dick doesn't fall off.
Oh, man.
Hey! I want to thank everyone currently timing me out and blowing me up in chat. We do appreciate you watching and listening, and it's been a lot of fun. So for everyone that listens to these podcasts or anything, they've been awesome. And a shout out to Korn, shout out to Joe, Endless Fable, Endless Tillamook, everyone in chat. You guys are the core, the rock that lets us keep on doing this and having fun with it.
Right on. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to that, but I will say normally this is when I would put my whole spiel about following us and blah 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 blah. But you know what? This is the last podcast of the year. I just want to say thank you to everybody who listens, everybody who shows up to the live shows. You guys are why we keep doing this, and we will see you again next year.